Okay, there we are. Welcome to Castle Run, everyone. I'm your DM, Elijah Goodall, and this is our last session before we have, I think, like a 3-week break from Castle Run.
No, boo! Let's play on Christmas and New Year's
Boo!
Day. Yeah, fuck my
Not you and
Uh,
I. We have
family.
we have something else.
I'm
We have our
not
other one.
saying
We're lucky ducks.
live on stream that I'll be hungover on New Year's, but I won't be well
Yeah,
on New Year's Day. I know that. Um,
yeah.
we're going to kind of get right down to it because there's a lot to cover this session. We left it on the cliffhanger of Vox facing down Balik, Balik Morgrasp, the man who had kidnapped her mother so many years ago with the apparent assistance of her uncle. But I guess Balik, being the half brother of your mother, Eva Winflow, is also kind of your uncle.
Right.
Unfortunately for Vox. The rest of the group kind of scrambling through the Red Keep to get there in time to help. But right now it is just Vox, it is just you and Bert and your mother in the room facing down Balik and your uncle Theon, who is lying on the floor bleeding out.
Who you wrecked?
Just absolutely demolished. Yeah, like a level 8 fighter went down in one hit. But I'm going to have everyone just go around real quick. We're not going to do any questions this time. Just go ahead and give us the character that you're playing, and then we're going to get right into it.
Hello, my name is Sean. I am playing Atticus Phoenix. They are a human fighter from a long line of royalty that goes back to primordial time. Tall, brick shit house, ready to break stuff. People's faces. Let's get into it.
I am Aaliyah, and I play Fauna, and she is a human witch with horns that are very crooked today. I don't really know how that happened, but and she doesn't. Nobody really knows why she has horns, but she's just trying to figure out her way in this crazy world, and she met this group of jokers, and so she joined up with them, and this is where she ended up. So thanks for that, everybody.
My name is Tyler, and I play Perrin. Perrin is a ranger and bard, and he is going through some rough times. He's definitely super. Why are you muting me, Discord? Definitely straightforward. Everybody knows what's going on with Perrin at all times.
Discord just thought you were saying definitely straight, and it was like, I don't,
It was trying
No.
to censor you.
Not Perrin.
Shit.
Never Perrin.
I'm Q. I play Vox, a half-elf assassin rogue who is currently in the middle of a really weird family triangle. Possibly going to murder both her uncles, question mark.
Both uncles, yeah.
Hopefully her mom lives, and she's a little stressed out that Bert followed her again after saying no because Atticus threw a temper tantrum, and she's a little worried about that wrath again.
You just don't want to take Vox just doesn't want to take responsibility.
I also don't want to take responsibility. Let that be known.
Okay. Well, we're going to get right into it. We're going to get... When I say right into it, there's a quick flashback. Fauna, you're about 8 years old. And I think for one of the first times, Nerlith is sitting you down to talk to you about magic. This isn't a lesson that she's teaching you out in the Evewood. This is an actual, just a frank discussion, which is the first that you've had. I think that this is shortly after that encounter that you had with her and the half-witch and that moment of glimpsing that strange creature. think this is a few days after that. And Nerlith has sat you down to give you a little bit more explanation. I think you've got some like books spread out in front of you. Abjuration, conjuration, divination, evocation, illusion, transmutation, enchantment, and necromancy. These are the primary schools of magic. Mostly, Fauna, as witches, we focus on abjuration, protection magic, divination, which is the magic of knowing things, and transmutation, which is turning things into something else. I wanted to talk to you about this today because I believe that you're coming into your own form of magic. Fauna, I believe you're an abjurer. That makes you a protector, both of things and places, and of people. Does that feel true to you?
Yeah, I think so. I feel like there's so much to learn, but I definitely feel like I want to take care of other things and beings.
I see that as well. Fauna, in this moment, go ahead and give me a... you can make it whichever one. You can either give me a perception check or an arcana check, depending on if you want to see something or learn something. I guess either way you're going to learn something, but the arcana would be more magic-based.
Well, I'm not sure it matters because I just rolled a nat 1. So,
Okay.
you decide.
Yeah. On a nat 1, I think in this moment, all these things spread out in front of you, and there are like notes written in the margins of a lot of these books. I mean, these books are all handwritten. It's not like the covens have a print. So this is like the collected knowledge of the covens. On that nat 1, you go through this as Noth begins to teach you about abjuration magic. You go through this, but it's just not, you're having a hard, like this is your first time having to sit down and actually like go through something in a book while being taught at the same time, and it's not an easy thing for you to follow. But I think you do notice one thing in the margins, and it keeps showing up a lot when it comes to enchantment. You see a lot of notes about like a subtype of magic and enchantment called endomancy. And I think when you see it, I think even without reading the notes, like there's a lot of symbols kind of and kind of like little arcane scrawlings in here. You get a feeling about this that is, it sparks curiosity in you.
Well, what's endomancy?
Nerlith takes a second, looks at you, her eyes narrow a little bit. She comes over and starts to look at the pages that you're staring at. Fauna, I think now at your age, you know something of magic. You know what it feels like. You know what magic feels like when it's good, when it's helpful, when it protects, when it heals, when it reveals things. Have you ever felt magic that was different than that? Darker?
I feel like I get that sense around my aunt sometimes.
Hmm. Well, your aunt is a practicer of darker magic. It is not. It is not the magic in question. The magic you've asked about, endomancy, it's a branch of enchantment. And it is an old magic, mostly, thankfully, gone from the world by now. It is the magic of control, absolute, of manipulation, even changing one's memories in order to better control them.
I didn't know that was even possible.
The world would be a better place if it had remained that way. Give me an insight check in this moment.
Come on, not that one. 4. Oh wait, no. Sorry, I just forgot how to play the game all of a sudden. 12.
Okay. On a 12, when Nerlith is looking at you, and you see a sadness in her eyes when she's speaking of this, almost as if she is familiar with this kind of magic. I think she kind of recovers. She pulls herself out of it in that moment. Yes. Back to it. Abjuration. Let's focus in on this, Fauna. And we are out of that flashback and out of that lesson. And the way that we're going to do kind of this combat and everyone coming into it in initiative order is everyone is coming in on this round. So Vox, you are not alone anymore. Or you will not be alone, but I am going to have everyone that hasn't rolled initiative yet. So Atticus, Perrin, and Fauna, go ahead and roll initiative, and then we'll kind of have you enter on your initiative. Coming
21.
21, okay. So you're going to be, that puts you, Perrin, right after Vox.
I got 12 again.
Okay, another 12.
17.
Okay. That actually works out perfect because that
that makes sense.
That puts Perrin and Atticus coming in right at the same time, which they were on the tour anyway. Let's get that in there. Okay, come on. And Perfect. There we go. Or actually, wait, on a 12, that puts you, Fauna, that puts you right after Bert. Okay. Let me see if I remember where my cue is. There you are. Okay. I think we're at the top because I think last time we left the combat at the top of the initiative order. Vox, it's your turn.
She immediately leaves.
I meant to unmute and instead just turned off my camera. Is the undead?
You could go ahead and give me a perception check.
Okay.
I don't think you really have time to do like a medicine check to like,
Yeah.
go, but you could for sure do a perception check.
It was a 10.
On a 10, there is a lot of blood. Like, again, you skewered, like, you think probably, if not directly through the heart, you certainly grazed the heart and went through the body with Brightburn. He is actively bleeding out, but perhaps not dead yet.
Yeah,
Okay.
wasn't he making death saving throws last time?
He was, and I have written down,
Yeah.
so far he's made 2 death saving throws, and I have written them down, but I am not going to tell you what they have been.
That's fair. I think that Vox is still just seeing red and angry, seeing the man that took her life from him. So she's gonna just stare him down and pull out Brightburn and just say again and lunge and swipe at him.
Cool. Yeah. Go ahead and give me an attack roll.
And this would be one of the parts where does Brightburn feel that he's done a big injustice to me?
Oh, for sure.
13. That is 13, 19, 21.
Okay. 21 hits.
21 to hit. Let me pull it up. I have it written down. I am going to 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16. Does a 16 hit?
A 16. Wait.
I'm.
Yeah. You're trying to put the extra spice on it.
Uh-huh.
A 16 would hit, except that on that 16, like, you go to put as much power in this as you can, and you see a whisper go out, and Balik waves a finger, and this almost like arcane sheen comes up, and you feel Brightburn almost like slow as it starts to move through the shield, and again, Balik is able to like just barely step out of the way.
She just looks at him and stop running and fight me, you coward.
Coward, you've assaulted me in my own bedroom, my dear. I've been trying to take care of your mother. I don't know what you mean by the word coward.
You stole this room the same way you stole my mother. Nothing's earned from you.
If I steal it and I keep it, then it was never theirs to begin with.
I'm going to kill you. And that's about it. That's all Vox is going to do right now. She's just standing to look for a clear time to hit him.
Yeah. Okay. Vox, at the end of your turn, the tour that Gert Mungler has taken you on, Atticus and Perrin, comes to its conclusion as you reach the top floor. And I think, the curtains in this like big room kind of, and we described it before, but again, it's like this sort of half dome. And then the rest of it is just open out onto that terrace of the top floor that sort of overlooks the city. You get to the top of that staircase and you see the sea. You see Vox standing there with Brightburn. You see a large man on the floor bleeding out. You see a much smaller, like kind of gaunt, thin human male, older, kind of with like that, again, that greasy white hair and one blind eye, standing opposite Vox. And as you enter, I'm going to have you each, I think you get to the like top of the stairs and Gert sort of like looks at what's going on and then sees.
I grab Gert real
Vox.
quick. I grab.
It's
Listen to me. Listen to me right now. Go live your life. You don't want any part of this. Go live your life.
While
Go make
Atticus
your
has
straps for your glasses.
while Atticus has Gert's full attention, Perrin uses the two knives that are disguised as his manacles, which he was never searched for, and he plunges those into Gert's neck.
Go ahead and give me an attack roll with advantage.
You monster!
18.
An 18 hits. Go ahead and roll damage. I think go ahead and roll for the offhand attack too at the same time if you're doing like two knives at once to see if that
Because
also
I
hits.
do have my two. Oh yeah, I guess with my thing I get.
You
Yeah,
get
I
the
can use my
ability
bonus
modified
action with
damage.
my two-handed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're gonna get the,
What do you want me to roll for damage on these knives? These
It'll
came out of
be-
the bag of knives.
It'll be d4s each, so they each get 1d4 plus your dex mod.
Okay. 6 and 4, 10 total.
On 10 total, Atticus, go ahead and roll me before this, go ahead and roll me the persuasion check real quick.
This explains
Okie
why
dokie.
Atticus's investment doesn't bear out later on. Because Gert's just
Yeah.
dead.
Come on, that could have paid dividends, bro.
It's a close.
Persuasion, that's 21.
On a 21, you take.
If you made me
Gert's
waste an
shoulders.
attack roll, I swear to God.
Gert looks up at you. Oh no, I think this is all before you enter initiative order. Like this is it's part of the tour, baby. Gert looks up at you, and in that instant before two knives plunge into his neck from behind, Gert looks at you. You see panic in his face, seeing what's going on, but you lock in with him. And he thinks about that gold coin. He thinks about the invention. He thinks about the glasses. And you see a look of like realization that, yeah, Gert never wanted to be a guard anyway. Like, this is going to be a better life. It's a new start. It's a fresh start. And that is the last thought going through Gert's mind when the lights go out.
Well, I guess that makes you sole IP holder on eyeglass chains.
As this exceptionally dark moment happens and Gert just kind of like slumps to the floor, the knives in his neck, I need a roll from each of you. Atticus, from you, I want an Arcana roll. And Perrin, from you, I want a perception check.
Nat 20! Let's go!
15.
I will never and always regret gifting you that dice set.
Hey, I rolled 2 nat ones, and
Yeah.
it gives and
You
takes.
sure did, yeah. Okay. We're going to do the results of the Arcana check first. Atticus on that 20, you see Gert go down. I don't know what Atticus is feeling about that. But I think, Atticus, one thing that you do realize is, like, in this particular situation, Balik is currently the regent for the Red Keep and all of Asparia, which does mean that the Royal Guard is going to be on his side. And so whether you agree with what has just happened or not, it's hard to deny that it does make what is clearly happening, like, it tilts the odds in your favor. And I think as you have that moment of like thinking about odds and favor, Atticus, you're a fighter. You're a big, brawny fighter. And magic has never been Atticus's strong suit. But it does not mean that in your long, long life, you have not encountered magic. And I think at times powerful magic. And as you look into this room, you've come up the stairs, you're like a few steps away from kind of walking past where the curtains are into this main room. You assess the room. It's your job as a fighter, like make sure you see where the choke points are, where like other guards could be coming in from, how you can best protect things, what needs to be done. And you look, you see who you believe is most likely Vox's mother, Eva, in the center of the room, like Bert standing over her. You see the steps Balik is taking where he's almost kind of like stepping around the outskirts of the room in a circle, kind of like keeping, Vox staying in between Eva and him. But you notice things. Things in the room are arranged a little too perfectly. There are lines made, almost like points of power drawn in the room. And on top of that, you notice that there are runes carved into this room. Some of them old and they look like there are some that are even like, look like they've been gone over and like filled in with metal or precious gems. There are some runes that look like they were carved into the tile of the floor today. And on that nat 20, you realize that not only does this situation have all the makings of a ritual, you, I think, can even tell what kind of ritual it is because you've seen similar things before. And you think that not only is this an incredibly powerful wizard, you think that he means to take something from perhaps everyone in this room. And that's what you get on your nat 20. Perrin, on a perception check of 15, you look around, and I think what you see, you see the man bleeding on the floor. Looks unfamiliar to you. You see Balik. There's something about his face. You're not sure if familiar is the right word, but it does something to your stomach when you see his face. There's a knot of anxiety that comes up. And on that 15, you notice kind of like dangling just outside of his tunic on a thread. A long time ago when you left the Feywild, you left fleeing a legendary creature known as the Wallachria, and because of its intent desire to hunt you, it had begun to destroy a lot of the things that you cared about, and so you were forced to flee. But when you fled the Feywild, you did have a fragment of its horn carved in from your first encounter with it. And you don't know where it is, but somewhere in leaving the Feywild, you lost that fragment. You don't know if it was still when you were in the Feywild fleeing, or right after you came through the door back to the mortal plane, but somewhere that token disappeared. Around Balik's neck, on a simple cord, you see that fragment of horn being worn. And in addition to that, you see someone else. You'd, I think, heard Vox mention a couple times since coming to the city something about her mother, Eva. In this moment, you look at the elven woman in the center of the room. And you recognize the elven woman that you saved from the Wallachria 200 years ago when you left the Feywild. And I think you knew Eva before she was Eva Windvler, when she was Eva Moregrasp, a full elf and someone with the ability to walk the wild path, to at will travel in between the mortal and the Fey realm at certain times when like the barriers were weakest. And Eva Windvler came, I think, about 20 years before you had to leave the Feywild after your encounter with the Wallachria. So you knew her for some time in the Feywild. And there are a lot of memories, and both joyful and sad, and a lot of common everyday memories, because Eva lived with you in Oricastris for some time, so much so that you almost came to think of her like a sister. And I think the one scene that we see in this moment, the thing that strikes your mind the most, is the day that she left to go into the mountains. Eva was one of the few people who, as a like from your time as a child in the Feywild, it was prophesied that you would be the one to kill the legendary beast, the Wallachria. Something that most of the Fey realm feared and believed couldn't be defeated unless the chosen person were to do it, and you happened to be the chosen one. Or so everyone thought. But I think Oricastris, your adoptive father, and Eva were the only two that never put that pressure on you. And Eva saw you for who you were, a person with flaws and sadnesses and goodness and quality that was waiting to make its own decisions on who you wanted to be instead of who everyone else said you should be. And I think in this moment you remember the day that she left, and she's outside, and she's been crafting something for a while, but she hasn't told you what it is. I think in this moment you see her outside, and you see this thin little stream of smoke coming up as she's bending over something. And she looks up at you. Perrin, oh.
What is it, Eva?
Okay, well listen, you've caught me, and you see she just has this little lump of incense that she's holding in her hand that's lit. It's not finished yet. I wanted to surprise you with it, but it's not finished yet. There's one more ingredient that I need. It's up in the mountains. I'm going to go get it today. I'll just tell you what it is.
All right.
I know, and she gestures to the ornament of rights that you bear. I know you have a lot of feelings around that ornament. And
What, the thing forced on me by...
Yeah, I know, and I know. I thought that maybe I could make you something that would make you something that gave it a different meaning. And it's not done yet. It still needs this other ingredient, but I just here. And she holds out.
Parent's gonna walk over and
incense.
take a look.
Go ahead and give me an Arcana check.
Seven.
Okay.
What is this? It's a candle?
It's meant to go in the ornament, in the brazier part, and I know what the instrument represents to you, and I thought that if you could, and I think on that 7 you don't get the full sense of what this is. What you do get is just a tiny, it feels almost like there's some sort of very simple but very powerful magic put into this thing that she's crafting. It's kind of almost similar to guidance. It feels as though it's meant to like push you in the right direction, except there's something different about it. It's not so much pushing you in the right direction as it is freeing you to not be pushed, to choose. And she holds the incense out, and I think you can see she's got like a bag of like these other cones at her, there's a lot of this incense at her side. It needs the last ingredient to be ready, but I thought maybe if you could make using that the ornament, if you could make it into a ritual that felt like choosing your own path each time you used it, maybe it wouldn't feel so heavy.
Perrin looks but doesn't touch it, and he considers this, and he looks at the pieces strapped to his body, which I think probably maybe even includes pieces he's not currently present day carrying.
Yeah.
The weight of the entire tribe is in this weapon. The weight of everything is in this weapon. What even am I besides a way to carry this through the world? What could possibly change the meaning of it?
And she takes your hand, and I think it's gone out at this point. There's no like little red cone at the top, so it's not terribly hot, but she takes your hand and she places the piece of incense in it. You feeling your purpose is what's going to make it your purpose. No one else gets to decide that. So however much weight you feel like you're carrying, you get to decide what it means.
That purpose is still death. Do you really think? I mean, look at all of our people. That's all they see when they look at me, is something meant to carry more death. Do you think there's a day where I will ever mean anything besides that to anyone?
And Eva takes her hand and places it on the side of your face. Perrin, I've been here with you and Oricastris for almost 20 years now. And we've gone years at a time without death, with just ordinary days spent wandering the Feywild, making dinners, laughing. It doesn't all have to be defined by these enormous moments. It can just be about all the moments in between those.
All the moments in between are still the moments. I think you know what the seers said. I'll watch both of you die.
Well, you get to choose what to believe. And I believe that I have one more ingredient to get to finish making this incense just right. So I will be back. And she boops you on the nose and turns to go.
Thank you. I don't mean to be ungrateful. You know I don't mean to be.
I know you don't. You just, remember, there's so many moments in between the bad ones that are worth just as much weight. And she leaves. And I think that the next time you see her, she's gone. I think when she left and went to the mountains, she was gone for much longer than you knew that she should have been to pick up an ingredient. So when you wander into the mountains several days later and find her in the Wallachria's den, I think for time's sake, maybe we'll save that for another moment, but your first fight with this thing is brutal. And it pushes you to the edge of death, but you are able to protect Eva. And I think the only reason you are able to escape alive is because this thing has woken up for the first time in 1,000 years, so it's still sleepy. And in your fight, you were able to carve off that piece of horn. And you take it with you as you and Eva flee. But I think over the next few weeks, you realize that this thing, the Wallachria, has the taste of your blood, and it has now come down from the mountains, and it is rampaging through the Feywild, and it will not stop hunting you unless you aren't here. And I think because of that, and because Eva decides that maybe her time in the Feywild has also expired and it's time for her to return to the mortal realm, you travel together and you walk the wild path back into the mortal realm. And I think on your arrival, that is where you part ways. And even in this moment, remembering that, you feel it's odd. It's odd to not have seen Eva again after that. It's a big world, but it's not that big. Why didn't you ever look for her again? That relationship was so important. And I think that that is the question that you're left with as you see this woman who you recognize, and you recognize to be someone dear. And it is your turn.
So Perrin takes all that in a moment.
What are we doing again?
And he turns with these two knives covered in blood and smears the blood on his face and turns around, and in his best Vox impression, he says, I didn't think of anything cool. That's not what Perrin says. That's what I said. Here I am. I'm Vox. I'm here to get my revenge on you. You fell for my trick. And I cast Vicious Mockery on whatever his name is. I forgot his name.
Balik, yeah.
Because I'm Balik.
Balik.
I'm reeling over here. So I cast Vicious Mockery on Balik. You fool, you idiot, you utter complete fool. You fell for it.
That's a saving throw, right? Wisdom saving throw?
Yes. Wisdom saving throw.
Okay. Let's first roll with a new set of dice. It's a 10 on the die. Does a 16 save?
Why is Discord doing this to me?
I don't know.
I guess so.
Okay. I think on the 60, as you step forward to cast Vicious Mockery, you take that step forward. You also, like, in the instant that you cast it, like, Balik looks at you and, like, raises one eyebrow in a moment of confusion before, as you kind of step into the threshold of the room, your disguise self, which is below a level 3 spell, immediately just, like, drops, and you are Perrin again.
It's still me though. I'm Vox. Hey Vox. It's good to see you. And I with my bonus action give Bardic Inspiration to Vox.
Okay, cool. So Vox, you've got Bardic.
And as a small point of order, if there's any need specifically, I don't know if you've written into this encounter something specific, but I do believe Ornament of Rights is being held by Mari and Nyx right now. So
no,
I do not have
you
that weapon unless you have a reason for that to show up.
You've got a
because they're behind us by a turn or two.
You've got a sack of knives right now, is what you have.
Yeah. I just thought I'd clarify that if you have any hard lines in the sand, our two missing people have really fucked me over here.
A high priority instrument for you right now. Okay. Perrin, that's your turn. Atticus, it's you.
Yeah, so Atticus, what is the closest rune to Atticus?
Ooh, that is a good question. Let me roll a die to determine what the closest rune is.
Roll a die, roll a die, roll a die. Roll a die.
Ooh. Okay. Atticus.
I don't like that music.
No, it was a pretty good roll. The closest rune to you, you look to, it's like maybe 10 feet away on the floor. And you see it's one of like the ones that has been like freshly etched into that flagstone recently. Could be as recent as today. You see, it is just a symbol of a flame, and inside the flame there is a person that is like crouched, almost like the form of them is almost like somebody coming out of an egg. And there's fire surrounding it.
Cool. Knowing what Atticus knows about like this ritual and seeing the runes, he's gonna smash it. He's gonna drive his sword into it.
Sword.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Give me an
Just
attack
trying
roll.
to break the rock. Uh, 18.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a stone, it's for sure. But damage is what matters here. So go ahead and roll that damage for me.
That's going to be 10. 10 damage.
On 10 damage, you... I can't remember. Have you named your sword yet? It's been in your family for a
I
long
have
time.
a name in character. I have
Okay.
not said the name of the sword. Yeah.
Okay. You bring the sword down on that and you smash it. And in that moment, you feel... You didn't realize it was there before, but you feel almost this invisible band like release on you. There's a weight that disappears. And you will no longer be making your saving throws in this room with disadvantage.
Woo! Let's go. What's the next closest rune I see? Because I have 2 attacks.
Yeah. Okay. Let's roll again.
Well, while he's doing that, by the way, I didn't say my movement action. Can I just pivot the opposite way around the circle that Balik is moving Vox, like the way that
to
he's
kind of flank.
boxing her? Can I just triangle that up a little bit? Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. That's pretty good. That's also another pretty good roll. I think you see another rune, and it's another one of those freshly carved ones, Atticus. And you see that it is just like this one, kind of like yours, but they almost seem like crests to you. Like this one doesn't have like a person on it what it does have is just a set of curling horns.
Mm-hmm. Atticus gonna smash it.
Cool.
And he's gonna be like, I fucking hate wizards, man. I fucking hate wizards so much. That is a...
Elijah, we've been instructed to tell you to check
Yeah.
your DMs, by the way, when you have a chance, Elijah.
Yep.
16.
Okay. 16. Go ahead and roll that damage.
That's 10 again.
Yeah, you smash the shit out of that thing. And Fauna, even though you are currently not in the room, I will say that when you do arrive to the room, just on the technical side of things, you will not make your saving throws with disadvantage either.
Thanks, Atticus.
Yeah.
And how much movement would you say Atticus has left on those moves?
I think you've got about 15 feet left. It's enough to get within, like, not be right next to Balik, but to be within closing distance on the next turn. But he's already he's got
the next one looks like a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna try and not flank, but like cut Balik off. And while I'm running over, I'm gonna yell like, "Hey, look out! This dumb wizard has runes over the room. Look out for them.
Cool.
Smash them if you see them."
And so the way that Perrin and Vox are squared up with Balik right now, where you run to, you could either be trying to cut him off from the balcony or trying to cut him off from the stairs. Which spot do you want to take?
God, that's hard. I think
I will say that cutting him off from the balcony would put you closer to Bert and Eva as well.
Yeah, I'm just trying to like get into a position where like I'm protecting the squad. So whatever that position is.
I think the spot where you would do the most good protecting is cutting him off from the balcony, and then you're you're closest to everyone that way.
Done.
Bert and
Make it happen.
Cool. All right, Atticus, that is your turn. On Bert's turn, you hear it, Atticus. You hear a voice that you have not heard in some time, and although its tenor and accent may have changed slightly, you hear calling out to you from where Eva is. Golly, it's good to see you, Atticus. You showed up just in time.
What the fuck?
Holy
When
shit.
did you guys get here? Yes, he talks, but when did you guys get here?
We're here for you, Vox.
Vox, I've always been here. I'm you. Perrin
wait,
looks down
you
at
look-
himself. Wait.
I think Bert is just going to I think hold his action to defend if anyone needs it, including holding that defensive like position over Eva, which was what he was asked to do by Vox. That is Bert's turn. Fauna. You are nearing the stairs to the top level. I think that your like escape from the dungeon, you haven't really met with any resistance. Like again, like last session, you all managed to deal with that pretty well. I will say though that as you begin to approach the top floor, it's you, Ravania, Nyx, and Maury. Go ahead and give me a perception check real quick.
That's gonna be 22.
Okay. On a 22, yeah, I forgot you're real good at perception. On a 22, like you are, and I think the cat's with you, right? You didn't send the cat off to do something.
No,
Yeah.
Cat's with me.
On that 22, you are running and you see, like, there's a moment where the cat's ears begin to perk up and then the cat looks up at you. There's a lot of, and I think as soon as the cat starts to say it, you hear it too. You hear coming down a hallway towards the room that you're in where the stairs ascend to the top level. Coming down the hallway, you hear dozens of armored footsteps. I think that you were all there kind of right in the beginning when the distraction was happening and then you snuck off, right? Like I think you were there long enough to like see.
We saw.
Even though it's a perception check and not necessarily an investigation, I think that you realize there was a royal guard that ran off right in the beginning to go get someone and tell them that Vox had been found. This is most likely the resolution of that. And there's like a full platoon headed, probably, yeah. So I think as
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think Fauna would be like, I think we're about to have some company.
And I think as you say this, you look back and you see a couple things. You see Maury, who is fully engrossed, actually, like while you've all kind of been running, like fully engrossed in looking at his book. And you see he has those
classic.
He has those spectacles on that he took from the moth. And he's looking at the book. And as you see this, you just see that there is like mist pouring out of his mouth. But at the sound of the footsteps running down the hall, where he does shut the book and look up and raises a hand, and you see that arcane energy just start to like lance out from his hand, just in these like gray streaks of energy. And you begin to hear that collide, like you begin to hear shouts and yells from down the hall as kind of like out of sight, these arcane bursts begin to connect. And then I think in that same moment, Ravania looks down the hall and then looks to you and then to Nyx. Nyx looks at Maury, looks at you, Fauna, and then gives a nod and goes and kind of like squares up next to Maury, holding the two daggers. And gives you a nod. And I think I'm not going to make you make an insight check for it. You like, actually you don't have to make an insight check for it because Ravania turns to you and is like, if they can hold them off, I'm going to help Vox. Will you go with me? Balik is a powerful, powerful spellcaster. But his magic is all cruelty and ancient knowledge. Your magic is intuitive, and I do not think he will be ready for a witch.
Of course, Nix and Mori will hold them.
Ravania nods, and you, I think, as you are about to go and leave, without a word, go ahead and make just a dexterity check real quick for me. Just a regular dexterity check, so just your dex mod and a d20, to see how well you do catching the ornament of rights as the pieces are tossed to you by...
16, so not too bad.
Yeah, you catch them. So you
Thank
have
God.
the ornament of rights on you. And you head up the stairs with Ravania. Oh, you know what? I did not roll initiative for her. Let's roll initiative for her real quick. A 4. That is not great. Where is...
Sean, are there ghosts in your room? What's happening? Are there ghosts
That's
there?
like what my cat does, is just sits there and like stares off.
What are you
into the-
looking at?
No, I use my TV as a light, and it's like keeps turning off. And
Okay, on a 6.
Oh my God,
that
do you
doesn't
think the
hit.
ghosts are turning it off?
100%.
For sure, the ghosts are turning it off. Okay, that puts Ravania right after you. Fauna, you enter the room, and it is, you see the scene that is set. It's your turn. What do you do?
I think Fauna takes it all in as quickly as possible. Probably it's pretty obvious that Balik is the problem here, right?
Yes.
Like, he looks like a bad dude. Like, I feel like she could probably figure out that
I
that's
think you could,
who
with
the
your
fight is
eyes
against.
closed, like with your eyes closed, you can tell that this is a bad man.
Okay. I think probably she's just gonna immediately, I think, go for maybe the biggest move she could do, which is she's gonna call down Moonbeam
Cool.
just right on his head.
Great. All right, I will make my Constitution save. Ooh, that is a... Does a 15... I can't remember. Does a 15 just make it? Is it like match?
16.
16 is yours. All right. That is a failure. So go ahead and
Get
roll
wrecked.
damage, and it's full damage.
So it's gonna be, make sure I'm doing 9.
Cool. Okay. Okay. And then that's going to stay active where he is. So, when he starts his turn in it, he'll have to roll that again. If he stays there, he has to continue rolling it, but he can also move out of it. But as long as you have concentration, that beam of moonlight will stay there.
can Moonlight move too?
I think you...
I can move it.
Yeah.
Basically, like, if he moves, I
But
can
you have to,
move
I think
it
you
in
have
my
to use
next
your
turn.
action to move it.
Yeah.
Does it affect allies?
It does, I think, but it's only a 5-foot radius, so
Yeah, it's just in one little, like,
Yeah.
beam right
Just,
so
you
it's
know,
just like
hold
shining
your arm out
right
and
on
stab
that
from
white
far
greasy
away.
hair. Just
yeah.
cool.
So I think, yeah,
You
right. Unless
light
you're
him
like
up.
really grappling with him, I don't think it would hurt someone, right? Eli
Yeah.
making
I was
an
gonna
attack.
wrestle him. God.
For sure.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you
My
would
bad.
have to be grappling.
Well, it's a
Who wants
yeah,
to
because it's a
wrestle?
5-foot radius. That's at a 2.5 foot reach.
Yeah.
So everybody has weapons that reaches further than that.
Yeah.
Fun in
And
this
then
moment.
how?
Yeah.
Oh no, go ahead.
Go ahead and give me an insight check too, as you do this.
It's 17.
That moonlight comes coursing down, and you see kind of like almost these like silvery flames like lick it, like little stray hairs almost kind of like burn up. And as sort of like winces from the unexpected pain of this, quickly looks for the source and sees you. And you can tell that he's surprised that Balik did not expect to see you. And also, the reason that he would specifically not expect to see you is that you see a look of immediate recognition. You don't recognize him. He recognizes you.
Yikes. That's
Yeah.
not good.
It's not great. It certainly doesn't feel good coming from him.
No, not a fan. Not a fan.
Okay. Are you doing anything with your movement at all?
But Fauna, bring.
Yeah. I'm on it, Perrin. I'm on it. I'm gonna move as much toward. Can I get all the way to Perrin with my movement from where I am?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
You can.
Yeah.
Yep.
I will head over there and then just hand Perrin all his shit. Because I have your
Cool.
bow too, right, Perrin?
Yeah.
So I'll hand.
Yeah, you
Perrin-
can
I
keep
think-
that for now. I'm good.
I think handing him all that too, like that's
No.
kind of a free action. It's the
All right. I
equivalent
guess
of
I'll
like
keep it.
yeah, it's the equivalent of like knocking an arrow to it. Like you just quickly hand him the. So, Perrin, you have you got your.
When I
shit
drop
back.
these daggers, I get a right. When I drop these daggers to receive my items, I definitely get to throw those at a target, right? For free. You just said it. It's free.
No,
The handing part is free.
the handing part is free. Okay, that is Ravania's turn.
Oh wait.
Yeah.
Wait. Does that doesn't count? That's just movement, right? Or does handing the stuff to Perrin count as my bonus action?
It doesn't. So you've still got a bonus action if you want it.
Okay. I'm going to. Oh wait. If I cast something else, does it break my concentration on?
No,
or
not
only
if
if it's another concentration.
It would
spell?
have to be a cantrip. That's a bonus action, but as long as it doesn't require concentration, it wouldn't break it on Moonbeam.
Okay, yeah. I have a sanctuary as a bonus action,
It is, but it's not a cantrip.
so I can't use it.
That's
Okay.
the thing with spells is that even when you have a bonus action spell and then a regular action spell, it has to specifically be a cantrip, which I think your cantrips are listed under. Like Firebolt is one of your cantrip, but then I have a lot of your cantrips that you would usually get as like a spellcaster. They're built into like you have less cantrips as a witch because they're built
Right.
into things like your spirit house and your rituals and things like that.
Yeah, I think Firebolt is my only one.
But
I
yeah,
can't
and
use
then that's
that
not
as a
but
bonus
that's not a
action.
bonus
Right,
action.
okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, then I think I'm done. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Okay. With that,
Oh yeah, Thaddeus says I get cat action too. Thanks, Thaddeus, for the reminder.
it is true.
I'm gonna send the cat just to aid the Bert and Eva crew, if that's possible, since they're like together.
For sure, yeah. And also remember, we talked about a lot of things, but one of the things that we talked about that would be active right now is that the cat can give advantage as a reaction. So you can, like, the cat can go over there, but if anyone needs that,
Oh,
help,
does that
you
kick
can
in
use that as a
now?
reaction. Yeah.
Does the cat, the new cat? Sorry, everybody. Does
Yeah,
the new cat sheet all kick in now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. And so that gets to be a reaction too. But yeah, for sure. So the cat's there to give a reaction as an advantage. Or give advantage as a reaction. Okay. This is Ravania's turn. And I just rolled a 19, and I'm pretty sure that she has the thing that I think that she has. And nope, she doesn't. I thought she crits on 19s too. She doesn't have that. She steps in. She is like, before she even sees anything, she is charging Balik and slicing down with her. So I think Vox, for the like first time in a long time, certainly not nearly as long as your mother, but for the first time in probably like, I think what amounts to about 6 months, you see Ravania. She's a little worse for the wear, having been in the dungeon for a while. You can see like she's lost some muscle. Her face is gaunt, but there is still like that brightness to her eyes. And there's, I think, it's just this like aura that she always carries and is incredibly present now, just like this aura of courage, as even without her armor and just kind of like in this tattered blue tunic, she is a force. And let's see, her attack is going to do, actually I guess she gets 2, so I should just roll for both. That one. So that one will hit 2. Plus 6, 21 points of damage. She just slices and goes like right up, just carves through the tunic and puts a nice chunk out of Balik's right arm with 26 damage. Let me do the math on this real quick. That is 99. Okay. And she looks over to you, Vox. Are you all right?
I'm fine.
I'm great. Thanks for asking.
Yeah.
Are you all right?
Later. No, but it's good to see you.
It's great to see you.
And that is Ravania's turn. Makes it Theon's turn. I'm going to roll another death saving throw.
One of my 3 uncles.
One of your yeah.
All my uncles are fighting.
This is a weird thing.
Uncle,
to say.
no! Uncle, stop!
Two true uncles and one uncle, estranged uncle in spirit.
This is a real Game of Thrones situation.
Yeah, I was real careful when threading the needle on that one to make sure that there was no like actual flesh and blood relation.
Oh man.
Okay. That is another.
No, Perrin is your dad.
that is gonna be
100% confirmed.
Stop.
That is going to be Balik's turn.
Right, other uncle.
Other uncle.
Thrunkle, if you will.
Yeah. Is Atticus my uncle somehow
Oh,
too?
God. Everyone's your uncle.
Bob's
He's
the
been around
uncle.
for 1,000 years. The odds are certainly in his favor. Yeah. I need everyone to make a dexterity saving throw. Perrin and Vox, you will be making the dexterity saving throw with disadvantage. Everyone else is making it normally.
Sorry, y'all. I wouldn't know anyways in character, but
I got 18.
Okay.
I also got 18.
Okay.
I got 13. That was my worst one.
9.
Is that with dexterity bonus, Fox?
No. I was debating using my bardic inspiration, but I'm saving.
Well, make sure to add, even on disadvantage, you get your saving throw bonus, right?
Yeah, and you get up your proficiency, if I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so your saving throw, your dexterity save bonus should be 5. So if if you rolled a 13, you've got an 18.
So it's an 18's my worst then.
Okay. That makes the save. So Atticus, Fauna, and Vox, you are going to take 43 points of... Actually, hold on. Let me wait, because Atticus, your ring is about to come into play. Hold on. Actually, let me look...
Whoa! Wait. On 18, we're taking 43 damage? What the...
On a save?
on.
I'm dead.
No, you wouldn't. It would have been halved. So that was full damage.
Okay.
I'm still dead.
But before I tell everyone damage, I forgot, Atticus, your ring is coming into play
Wait,
right
Fox,
now.
do you have your armor on this time at least?
Jesus.
I do have my armor on.
Where is that ring? There it is. Okay. Ooh. Specifically in
I'm not wearing my actual ring
okay.
this time, but
It's not.
on a
It's
save.
actually, it works great because it's actually not going to do. It's not going to do any extra damage the way that I have structured this ring. In this moment, you see, so Balik like reaches up, and I think from the ceiling of the room, you begin to start seeing these like just lances of like purple electricity as they like start to gather in the center, and then in a single bolt drawn down to his hand, you see this surge of power before it goes out. But as these arcs of lightning go out, they are headed towards the four of you. You see all of them bend. And as these arcs of lightning bend, Atticus, the ring that you wear, that you took from the Black Mountain, from the ring of your great grandfather who did fight and
Cletus.
destroy a storm elemental who is headed to destroy St. Florian, and then carved a ring from the giant tree that the storm elemental struck down with lightning. Atticus, all this lightning is headed towards you. And as these bolts hit you, you made your save. So I will say this. That is 4 bolts of lightning because you made your save. Each one of these bolts of lightning is 22 points of damage, but that ring makes you resistant to lightning. So we're having that damage. So of these 4 bolts of lightning, each now have to 11 points of damage. You are going to take 44 points of lightning damage as this entire spell comes surging down and crackling into you.
You made it sound cool, but holy shit.
Yeah, well, hey, without that
Yeah,
ring,
but I'm pretty sure that was going to down the rest of the party.
88 points of damage. This is a 6th level chain lightning spell, so...
Genuinely, 88 hitting I have 36 HP. I'm pretty sure that would have been like immediate death.
Well, it would have been
I have
44.
20,
It would have
I
been
would've been
44
dead.
for you because you didn't make the
Oh
save.
my god. I'm fucked up.
With
I am
44
fucked
points
up.
of lightning damage.
I'm fucked up. This is the first time Atticus has been fucked up in this campaign.
Atticus, in that moment, you feel, and I think in addition, like you're standing like in, so you also take all that damage, and like Bert, Eva, the cat too, they're all right behind you, and Bert just sort of stands and watches his hero and role model get absolutely crisped by these like 4 bolts of lightning that all bend into you. You all right?
Holy shit. I'm killing. He's died. He's gonna die. He's gonna die.
Atticus, I seen someone struck by 1 bolt of lightning. I never seen a man struck by 4 bolts of lightning at once.
It's the story of my life, you know. They say lightning doesn't strike the same place, but you just see smoke rising from his hair and his mustache.
Does
His
Atticus still
mustache
have
is
a
actually
mustache?
fucking gone. It's singed off completely.
Okay.
Did we just see Atticus's skeleton? Like when all of that hit him, like in Home Alone 2? and he
100%
collected-
for sure.
Yeah.
You did. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think you saw his skeleton, and then you, for the first time, realized that like Atticus maybe adds an inch to his height because he's got these little risers in the boots in his armor. So he is exceptionally tall, but he adds an inch with the armor.
Oh.
6'11". I'm 6'11" with the armor.
6'11".
Uh-oh.
Do you take any negatives on charisma, losing that
Holy
mustache?
Fuck, dude. That's so much damage.
So
I think you
Atticus
take a
took
lot
the
to
damage
morale with sucking
for
in
everybody.
Yeah,
unintentional
Atticus
Atticus is
is
just
spawn to
We're
yourself.
good.
pissed now. Atticus is just pissed now.
Okay, that is Balik's turn. At the top of the initiative order, I need. Let me look at my sheet here. I need everyone to make a wisdom save for me.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, this is
17.
18.
23.
Okay.
Am I still taking that with disadvantage?
The wisdom saves are made with disadvantage as well for Perrin and Fox. Until
That-
Oh.
you have the outside information, like there's those runes. If you found your rune and destroyed it, which I think Atticus knows now that's what's going on, but until that happens, both of you will make them with disadvantage.
I wasted a nat 20 and I have a 4.
It was still a
aid-
17. I rolled better.
Familiar
Hold
aid
on.
doesn't
Okay.
help with saving throws, right?
I have my bardic inspiration. Can I add?
Oh,
Or does it?
so here's what I'll say. Before I tell you whether a save of a wisdom roll of 4 makes it or not, I will tell you, Fauna, the cat can,
Oh,
as a reaction, grant advantage to this roll, which would cancel out the disadvantage. Which would mean that
The
Fox
cat
would have
can
rolled a
for-
nat 20.
a nat 20.
on their
Oh, yeah,
save
then yeah, we
instead.
should do that. Yeah, 100%.
Thank
Okay.
you. So that's a 21 on my save. Then,
Okay,
with a nat 20.
the lowest roll was a 17, right? Was it parent
Yeah.
17 on the wisdom save? Okay.
Thanks, cat.
All of you managed to completely shrug off the effects of the lair effects, which are now happening that you're all here, of a group slow spell, which would have been pretty crippling for the group. Everyone, including Bert, who got a save high enough, is able to shrug off, except for the one person who's affected by it is Ravania, who is now slowed.
No.
Oh, no.
But that brings us to the top of the initiative order. Do we want to take our quick bathroom break here, or do we want to go through another round?
Bathroom.
Okay.
Now seems good.
Yeah, let's take a quick break, and we will be back in 10.
Thanks,
You're
Atticus.
killing
Okay. Oh, yep, there it is. Okay. Then there's as we come back to the top
And
of the
there's a
initiative order,
duck.
a lone duck just flies by and goes to land on the edge of the terrace and is like, "Oh, nope, bad idea," and immediately flies away.
Does that cause a distraction or no?
No distraction.
Oh, damn.
Did Perrin's bird notice it and try to get him in on the fight?
No, Amos
Yeah,
was
what they
specifically
must
like
even been
looked
up
at the
to.
duck and was like, "Mm-mm, mm-mm." Okay, top of the initiative order. It is Vox. It is your turn.
Yeah, Vox is living. She's going to go for that strike, seeing Ravania hit him and that moonbeam come down, and feeling like she might get it in.
Yep.
So let's. I almost rolled in my fruit bowl. Wrong bowl. I'm going to re-roll
Roll
that
in
with
fruit
the
bowl
bardic
for advantage.
inspiration. Is he flanked?
Yeah, flank for sure. So you're getting advantage.
Gonna use my bardic inspiration. There we go. That is going to be a with the rapier. Rapier, it's plus normal hit, and then 2 because he's enchanted, right? So plus 8 to hit.
Yep.
Nice. So I'm going to take the -5 on that. I know it for sure hits because I rolled a 17 plus 8.
Oh, it for sure hits. Go ahead
Yeah.
and throw all that extra spice on it.
Hell yeah. Fuck this guy.
That is such a cool mechanic.
Alright.
Yeah, it's similar
let's
to the-
see.
I think I combined a couple things. I combined like a smite spell, and then there was another feat, and I can't remember what it
Yeah.
was.
Let me roll this one. 9.
Just a really neat way to become a glass cannon, but with
Yeah.
some options still.
I kind of think that's what a rogue assassin should be, right?
Yeah.
That's gonna be 15.
Okay, cool. Is that with your sneak attack too? Because you've got advantage. So you get
Oh
sneak attack,
no, that wasn't with my sneak attack. Let's see.
which is another 3. Is it 3d6 right now? Because you're level
3d6, yeah. Oh, what did I say it was? 15?
15.
15 damage so far.
15. 2, 23, 24, 25.
25 total.
Her whole desk is D6s right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
25 total
Cool.
for that
That's pretty-
one.
That's a pretty spicy hit. You make that strike, and I think into the same like arm that Ravania carved into, you just like skewer this, and you could just kind of like see the arm, like there's a grimace on Balik's face as the arm just kind of locks up a little bit, and you feel Brightburn. Oh, that is good. It is good blood. And then there's a pause, and you hear Brightburn almost like talking in a that's almost meant to be less for you, Vox, and more just something that Brightburn is saying out loud to itself. But you overhear it. No, I've tasted you before.
What? You fought him before?
I've tasted, I do not know, but I believe I have tasted this particular man before. You would not forget.
Oh, Vox, that reminds me. I saw a tapestry, and the former queen, he owned your sword. Isn't that crazy? Lady Ursula, she was holding your little candle sword.
Does he speak of the Lady Ursula? The
Yes, I
woman,
think that's
the woman we saw in the tapestry.
that one, yeah.
Let me get another taste of him. I want another taste. Perhaps I will remember more.
I'll give you any that you want. But Vox is also going to pull out her dagger
Yeah,
and make her two-handed fighting attack as well.
cool.
Oh, that is a 23.
Oh, a 23 hits.
And let's see. Too bad it's. That's gonna be 3.
Okay. And another 3.
It's
That's
a dagger.
that's 28 damage on one turn. It's pretty good. Okay.
Riviana, you have to stay alive long enough so I can apologize to you.
Yeah, it's cross your fingers that Theon is the only one bleeding out within the next round. Okay. Vox, if that's your turn, Perrin, it's you.
Can I get some real crunchy D&D distances real quick from, so like I'm here, Vox
Yeah.
is here,
I think
Barrack
we're
is
all
here,
gonna-
we're in a triangle.
We're kind of spitballing this, so I'm giving you a little bit of like flub, with the movement. But right now, what it kind of looks like is you are behind Balik because you're helping Vox to flank. Like Balik is, so you're kind of forming a I will say like almost a T right now. If Fauna is next to you, you are both behind Balik. I would say in order to be flanked, you have to be directly behind him. So we can say that Fauna is kind of behind you, but that puts it like Fauna and then you and then Balik immediately all within 5 feet of each other. So like Fauna, Perrin, Balik, Vox immediately.
I'm
on
within
the other
5
side.
feet though, I'm close.
You're within 5. You have to be to flank. And then
Okay.
you have between the balcony, which is like closer to the balcony, kind of in the center of the room is where Bert and Eva are. Atticus is in between Balik and them, so kind of forming like the top of that T. Like
Okay,
if Balix
so
is the
basically
crux-
we
yeah,
entered-
If Balix is the crux of the T, then you and Fauna are on one side, Vox is on the other, and then Atticus is like here.
I mean, yeah,
Perrin
we're
is-
on a plus sign here. So
Yeah, I would say Atticus is probably within 15 feet of you if you use the hex grid.
But if Perrin's within 5 feet, is he getting hit by Moonbeam then?
No, because it's
No.
2.5 by
It can
2.5.
only it can only occupy that 1 5-foot square.
It's a 5
Oh, I
foot
see. Perrin's within
radius.
5 feet.
5 foot radius.
Got it. Okay. Got it. Good.
Okay, follow-up question.
We know shapes here.
I saw Atticus hit these runes and shout that out about the runes. Can I see Atticus went one way and destroyed 2 runes, so that means I'm arcing out towards the other ones. Am I
Yeah.
close to one of those?
Yeah, go ahead and make me a perception check to see if you spot one.
14?
On a 14, let me roll to see which one you spot. You do see one, and the symbol is I don't think it's a symbol you're familiar with though. I think on that 14 perception, like it doesn't look like anything you recognize. It is just like a hand holding something, like almost like a grasping hand.
And that's how far
And
away?
Yeah, and there aren't any other ones close to you. That one's about we're gonna say like within 10 feet of you. But it is
Okay.
one of those ones that is carved into the floor fresh. It is not an old one.
Okay. Sorry, I'm getting my whole thing sorted
Yep.
here in my head. Because I have so few bonus actions and so many things to do. Okay. I free a symbol ornament of rights,
Yep.
first of all. And he's trying really hard not to think about Eva across the room or about just the complications that all of these connections have become.
Yeah.
But he's seen Atticus get serious, so he's going to as he assembles Ornament of Rights, he's going to give one spin, and he's going to spin out Ornament of Rights on using his new range attack, which gives me up to 20 feet. I'm going to send out a good 10 feet of that with full power at the closest rune that I can see.
Cool. Yeah. Go ahead and give me an attack roll.
Nat 20.
Oh, okay, roll critical damage.
Feels like a waste of a crit. But I'll leave it to you to come up with something cool.
Well, I will say the double damage might help. You do have to do a certain amount of damage to a tile to like a rune to destroy it.
Yeah. That's 10. Well, 10 natural, critical would be 20.
Okay. You absolutely smoke this rune. And give me a perception check real quick.
Dirty 20.
Okay. On a dirty 20, you smoke this rune. You see again, like you're trying to focus on what you're doing, but you are like drawn to. You can't help but come back to Eva. You see her again. She's like, she's not actively like diet, but she was like knocked out. She's not at risk of, but you see her even in that unconsciousness, like breathing easier. That's your action. Do you have anything else?
Oh yeah, I have two other things. I'm going to use my bonus action to use my two-handed attack. Will you let me use my 20 to use that as a like wind up to swing back towards Balik?
I won't let it
like
roll as a
momentum
20 hit, but I think you're like you making it. You have to make.
I'm switching targets. Right. But what I'm arguing is that my two-handed attack is basically giving me a second attack rather than two attacks on the same target.
Oh, is that how second-hand attack? I didn't actually know that was how second attack worked. Is that it has to be against the same target?
No, well, I'm using my two-weapon fighting specialty.
Mm-hmm. And
so this would be my offhand attack.
Okay.
Up through now, I've been using my offhand attack on the same target because I'm using a two-handed weapon. We homebrewed that part of it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'll rule the way that this weapon works. You can absolutely like use that on the recoil to make an attack roll on Balik too.
Okay. So Perrin is going to whip Ornament of Rights back around, and as he does so, he's going to let out even more length so that when he hits at this target merely 5 feet away, he could hit him with the staff. But what he's trying to hit is the chain is going to hit at the knees with the intent to pivot up and around. So I want to basically wrap him inside of the chain.
Yeah, make me an attack roll.
Ooh, yep. That's 16 plus whatever my thing is, 5. That's dirty 20. Dirty 21.
Cool, that's a hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
Uh, 19. I'm sorry, that's 9. Flat 9. Why did I add a 1? 9.
I was like, God damn, there was some spice on that.
No. Well, I haven't done any incense or anything either.
Yeah. Okay.
And last thing is that Amos is going to do something because
Yeah.
she's not giving advantage to anybody.
Yep.
Amos, Perrin is going to give a little whistle while he's attacking this rune. Atticus has already called out the rune, so Amos is going to dive up into the air to see if she can see any additional runes.
Yeah, give me a perception check for Amos.
Just scared. My mic.
18.
On an 18 for sure. Which I think Amos actually sees on that 18 perception check. Like Amos calls back to you like, I see both of you, and Amos can see both your rune and Vox's rune.
Perrin shouts out, Vox. And Amos gets 50 movement of movement? Can she close to that one and attack it with her action?
Let's see which one is closer. Yours is the closer. Amos would be able to make it to yours, but not Vox's. I mean, unless you have...
Yeah, so...
Because is Amos going to be... If Amos is using one of her spells...
I mean, yeah, I feel like I'm getting micromanagey with the details there, maybe, but none of her spells are good for that, so
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
I think she's just gonna dive and do piercing damage. She does so little damage.
Yeah.
Perrin is gonna say get Vox's, and Amos is gonna dive for Perrin's.
Cool. Go ahead.
Knowing that she's not gonna make it to Vox's.
Make me an attack roll as this small, tiny, lovely bird tries to attack the floor. And
10 plus 4, 14.
Yeah, that's a hit.
And she gets 1d1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. One.
She gets a 1d1.
Great. Fantastic. 1 point of damage. You just see.
Do you want me to roll for that?
No. Yeah. No. You go ahead. We'll just call it the average of that. And yeah, you see Amos like strike the and just begins like fiercely as this tiny little bird just like scrabbling, trying to scratch into the flagstone and erase this rune, or at least mess it up enough so that it's no longer functioning. Are you doing anything with your movement action? Or are you staying there?
Yeah, I think I'll stay in this flank position. I'm going to stay close to Fauna. I'm going to maybe take a step or two continuing that arc around so that I'm fully behind him.
Okay, cool. Atticus, that makes it your turn.
Atticus, like, after getting fucking jolted,
Walloped.
is like you just see him like he's smacked the ground, gets up, and as he looks up, his mustache is completely gone. It's been fried off. His hair is like puffed up. Somehow his eyebrows made it through, weirdly enough. But he looks at this man who just fucking in Atticus's mind, he just targeted me. Like, he didn't target anybody else. So he looks at him and goes, "You fried my mustache. You fried my mustache!" And he's gonna try. And I think with that, correct me if I'm wrong, is the card a single use that I have, the reckless attack card?
It lets you use it at any time.
Cool. I'm gonna make a reckless attack.
Cool. Yeah, go ahead and roll with advantage.
Thank you for just reminding me that we have cards.
That is 19, so that's a crit for me.
Yep.
That first attack's gonna be 15 damage.
Okay.
Then as he hits with that one, he's gonna bring his sword up and try and just bring it down on him for the second attack.
Cool.
I don't get reckless attack on my second attack, right? It's only good for one.
I think reckless attack makes you just attack recklessly. So advantage on you, on attacks against you, but advantage on your attacks.
Yeah.
So I think
he's just going.
Get it on all of them.
He's going sicko mode then.
Okay.
There is no rhyme or reason to his slashing patterns or anything. Thank God that I chose to do reckless attack. That's a nat 20.
Okay.
And because I keep rolling like 2s and 3s, and then I roll again.
Also, is Balik grappled now, or is he like restrained by Ornament of Rights, wrapping him up?
I'd let you make a grappling check for it. So far, there's not going to be any like additional effects to it yet.
Okay.
Second one hits for 11, so that was 13 plus 11, 24
Cool.
on that. Yeah, then Atticus is gonna action surge
Okay, wait.
again.
I will tell you. So before you action surge, you make these 2 attacks. As you make these 2 attacks, as a reaction, Perrin, I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
God damn it, Atticus.
And you are making it with disadvantage because your rune has not been destroyed yet.
2. Well, actually, I guess 4, but...
Okay. Atticus, you come down with, that's 2 crits for a total of 24 damage. You come down in fury on Balik. You see him look at you and a sneer in just a second kind of crosses his face, and you hear a whisper, low, Perrin, you're not sure why, but it seems like the most reasonable thing in the world to step directly between this man and Atticus. And as the blow...
Wait.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah, another reaction.
Yeah, the cat, I think Fauna sees what's happening, and she yells, Perrin has catnip! And the cat just goes for Perrin.
Okay, so make that...
And trips him before...
Perrin, instead of just telling me what you're better, just go ahead and remake the roll, and we'll call that your flat, like, rolling without disadvantage.
Oh, no, I was going to do it as a tripping reaction to trip Perrin so that he doesn't get in between them.
Oh my god.
Because the cat has that new reaction.
Such a better idea.
Oh, so I'm actively trying to get in the way, but I'm physically being tripped. Not that I'm preventing. I'm not re-rolling my throw.
So here's what I would say. I love the like idea of that for the cat. The practical effects of like the trip would just knock Perrin prone, which would then mean that attacks on him have advantage. So I love the idea of use, but what you can do is you can, if you give Perrin advantage, and we can say that like the cat gives Perrin advantage by just charging Perrin and like tripping him to like get him out of the way, Perrin gets to make that saving throw with advantage.
Okay.
So instead he just re-roll the saving throw. So
we can do
go
that.
ahead, go ahead and do that re-roll. Because the trip, I love it, but
does
like,
the trip
actual
automatically?
Mechanic,
but does the
he
trip
would have to make a
automatically
dexterity save to? It doesn't automatically. He gets to make a dexterity save to see if it fumbles him. But even if
I was gonna say,
it would just put
can
him
we
in a
say
worse position?
So if
Right.
he made the save though, then he would just be tripped but not prone.
If he made the save, he would be tripped but not prone, and it wouldn't do anything at all, because he'd still finish the movement.
Oh,
and
okay.
it's just a 5 foot. Yeah, it's a very small movement.
Okay, well we'll go with countering the disadvantage then.
So what's Perrin? What's the save on a reroll?
All right, I just didn't want to roll until we were sure, because I was gonna argue that we should make the cat roll an attack roll. Wisdom flat. I rolled a 14. My wisdom saving throw is +2, 16.
A 16 still doesn't save. It's just under.
Sorry, I tried.
In Perrin, it seems like the most natural thing in the world to step in between Atticus and this man. Everyone else hears the whisper. What you hear in your ear is, protect your betters. And you are, I think in that moment, like Atticus, you have no time to pull that like blow of fury, and you rain down 24 points of damage on Perrin. You can still action surge now if you want to.
Horseshit. Atticus like sees that, and like he's just more mad now. Like the normal, he's still like raging,
Yeah.
The normal pose you see, he has like a hand on he's swinging this hand, pretty much. He's like, he doesn't fucking care at this point, you know. This guy needs to be dead, so he's gonna action surge again
Cool.
to attack again.
And I think no check necessary. You see the look on Perrin's face is a 1,000-yard stare. Perrin is looking right through you. You can definitely you can for sure step around and attack around Perrin to still get to Balik on an action surge.
I want to like kick Perrin out of the way, but yeah, I'm gonna like
do more damage, please.
No, I'm just literally gonna push through him. Like I see it, I don't care. Like I push through Perrin and I
still
swing
at this
again.
Moment, like Perrin is still an ally, so you can occupy, like you can move through the same space.
Okay.
Am I still holding Ornament of Rights, and is the chain still connected to Balik?
Yes.
18 on that first attack.
That's a hit.
And when he's swinging, Atticus, gritting his teeth, he just goes, "You son of a bitch," and swings. Oh fuck. That's 6.
Okay.
6 damage. And then I get one more attack.
Second,
That is 16.
That's also a hit.
At least I got something off.
Go ahead and roll damage.
Wait, don't. Stop. Leave him alone. That's
7.
my uncle.
Yeah, so a total of 13 damage.
Okay.
And
that is not shabby.
Yeah, and I'm also gonna second wind as well.
Cool.
While I can.
Yep. Do you get 2 second? You don't get 2 second.
No, just 1.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's I'm gonna be restored 9 points of HP.
Cool. Okay. Atticus, at the end of your turn, that's Bert, and Bert's just gonna continue to hold that defensive position over Eva, which means that Fauna, it goes to your turn.
Fauna is... Wait, has he has he moved at all, or is he just still standing in Moonbeam?
He's still standing in Moonbeam because it hasn't come back to his turn yet, so he's still in it. And at the beginning of his turn is when it'll do damage again, if it's still there, like if it's still maintained.
But if he hasn't moved out of it, I don't need to use my action to
move it.
renew it, right? Okay.
Yeah, you can use your action to do whatever you want.
Okay, cool. I am going to I'm gonna cast, or I'm gonna use Firebolt to attack.
Yeah, go ahead and roll that attack.
With Moonbeam, he takes damage every turn, right? Because of it.
At the beginning of it, yeah. If he remains in the space, he'll have to make another save.
Wait, hold on 1 second.
Does Moonbeam require concentration to be maintained?
It does.
Oh no, that's not.
So that will affect what you can do, Aaliyah, because you can't do another concentration
sorry,
spell.
Yeah, you can do another concentration, but Firebolt isn't a concentration spell.
Right, yeah. I was just casting Firebolt.
Okay. Okay.
I only got 10, so I'm guessing that doesn't hit.
A 10 does not hit. And you've already used the cat to you've already used the cat to give advantage this turn.
I am going to use my bonus action to cast Sanctuary on Perrin.
Cool.
Because she doesn't really know if it might help break whatever's happening to him, but she does know that he's pretty hurt now from the hit from Atticus. So she's trying to help prevent further damage there.
Cool. because you're doing this protective thing too. Like, so Sanctuary basically will protect Perrin until Perrin actively attacks your antagonist, like your enemy.
Oh, wait. Sorry.
Yeah.
Since Perrin moved out of the way, am I now flanking?
You're not helping to flank yet because you're still fight. You'd have to be like within 5 feet to give that flanking. So if you want to use 5 feet of your movement to be flanking, you can.
Okay, I'm gonna. Is it okay if I do that, even though we've
Totally.
already moved on to the next
yeah,
thing? Sorry.
You can, but no, you can because you can move at any time, so you can still move and then cast that Sanctuary thing.
Oh no, but I mean, like, can I use it to have advantage for my re-roll my firebolt roll?
Oh, you totally can. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna move
I'll
close
allow
enough.
it. Yeah.
Thank you. Just I'm still learning, so
No, it's okay. We're doing theater of the mind too, so sometimes like thinking about the space and the movement gets tricky. So yeah, go ahead. And
okay,
roll
yeah.
with
So I'm
advantage.
gonna re-roll my.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, that is 20, dirty 20.
Oh, that hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
Okay, awesome. Oh wait, that's. Well, 1.
Okay.
I'm really trying here.
But it was a fought for one, and one. Who knows? Who knows what point of
One
what
point
hit
more
point
than
makes
he
the
had before.
difference. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now I'm going to cast Sanctuary on Perrin, and then I'm going to use the rest of my movement to move as close to the closest rune to me as I can.
Okay. Cool. I will say the closest rune to you. Let's do a little roll. The closest rune to you is going to be the one that Amos is like you notice it because Amos is fairly close to you, like
Okay.
just scrabbling it, and I think you can go right next to it if you want to. It's well within your movement.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna move over there. I don't think I can do anything to it, but I'll be there.
Okay. I will say, as you reach out to cast Sanctuary on Perrin, give me an Arcana check.
17.
You reach out to cast Sanctuary on Perrin. It's a spell you've cast before. You're familiar with it. And there's this idea of protecting, I think that there's, this feeling that washes over you of an immense desire to protect from harm. And as you cast Sanctuary, you notice something. It's not just, there are a lot of enchantments going on in this room. There are things, obviously there are these runes that are tied to all of you. But there's something else. There's something older. You feel remnants of this old dark magic, and it is hanging especially heavy over Perrin. But you also sense it in Vox, and you sense it in yourself. And I think that
all the people with uncles.
All the people with uncles. The other thing that you are
Not me.
in
I'm
that
an orphan.
instant reminded of, for some reason, you think back to that time when you were 8 years old with Nerelith, and you asked about, because you had that certain feel, that curiosity, that feeling about endomancy and what it was. It stuck out to you for some reason. And I think that whatever is going on, it is that. And it is affecting, it is been affecting Perrin and Vox and you. And you can't read into it any more than that, but you sense it there. And that's your turn. It is going to be Ravania's turn.
Sanctuary doesn't do anything if the person's already under a spell, right? Only if someone tries to cast a new spell on them.
Sanctuary protects, I think, directly from attacks, and maybe doesn't let them be the target of a spell.
Any
Yeah, it's
creature who targets the warded creature must
With an
first make a
attack.
wisdom saving throw.
Yes.
Or
Okay,
harmful spell.
Yeah, so they
it
have to beat the
says.
wisdom save. Basically, if somebody wanted to cast a spell, like an enemy tried to cast a spell on Perrin, until Perrin actively makes an attack or casts a spell against them, Perrin's protected unless they beat that wisdom save.
Right, but the spell
think
that
it
Perrin's already
technically-
under doesn't count because he's already under the
Doesn't
spell.
count. It's a new.
Okay.
It's any new spell. I will say though, just for the
But-
technicality of it, like that was a reaction. That like the effect of that spell's already gone. Like Perrin, you don't have the 1,000-yard stare anymore. Like you come back to yourself in that moment of like feeling the blow rain down on you, and are not sure why you just did what you did.
Yeah.
Cool.
But if it had continued, it would have protected me from Atticus again, because it would have retargeted that attack, basically.
Yeah, because it's anyone trying to. Yes. That is Ravinia's turn. She doesn't get her extra attack, but she does hit with her regular attack and 8 damage. Okay. After Ravania, that is another death saving throw for Theon. Okay. Just up at this point, because if anyone's been keeping track, that's 4 saves for Theon so far. And I will tell you that he's still not dead. So do the math on that as you will. But things are
Spicy.
yeah.
Wait, there's only one way the math could be, then.
Yeah,
if he's
there's
still down.
Only one way.
We're out of options.
Yeah.
Do the math as you will.
Yeah. There's only one correct equation to come to on 4 saves and him not being dead. So, or stable. I'll also tell you he's not stabilized. Like he's still bleeding out. At the bottom of the initiative order, that is going to be Balik's turn. On Balik's turn, I need everyone to make another dexterity saving throw. Perrin and Vox, you're still making your dex saves with disadvantage.
Did he take his damage from Moonbeam, by the way?
Oh, he did not. Hold on, let me roll that. That's a failure on it. So go ahead and roll that 2d10 of damage, and he's going to take the full thing.
19 is my dex save. I rolled a nat 20 and then a 14 plus 5.
Okay.
15 on my dex save.
Okay.
That's 6 points of.
Okay.
That's a big fat 5 for my deck save.
Okay. And
And
what about-
Perrin's protected under Sanctuary, by the way. So whatever.
Oh, yeah, he has
happens-
to make a
right,
wisdom
the
saving throw.
targeting on that in order for this to target.
Yeah.
Yes, let me make that wisdom
Yeah.
save. Thank you.
Unless if it's a targeted group, but it's not an area effect, right? Because
It's not an
Sanctuary
area
does not
effect, so it
protect
isn't-
from
you are
area
an
effect.
individual target
Yeah.
in it, and that is a nat 1 in his save.
Yeah.
So Perrin, you this spell is not going to be targeting you.
No.
So what-
On a failed save, the creature must choose a new target or lose the attack or spell. So if he's already chosen all the targets he can choose, I think he loses the spell, right?
Yep.
It has to retarget, and if he can't target people twice, he
And
loses the spell.
He can't retarget. Hold on, let me see the
If he's
specific
already
reading
targeted
of how
everyone, he would
this-
still have to. Everyone else would still potentially take the damage, right?
No,
No.
because it's a single spell, multiple targeting. But if you can't target, I mean, I don't know what the spell is.
Yeah.
So if the spell allows multiple targeting on a single target, that's the only way it would work.
Says-
The spell allows multiple targeting, or alternatively, you can choose to only target one person and do more damage with this spell. But I think because he already made the decision to strike all of you, I think it would cancel the spell. Because it's a thing that he has to choose right away if he goes for one person or all of you.
Or protect.
So do I need to roll still? Because I hadn't done that yet.
No, you don't have to roll a saving
All right,
throw.
sweet.
I think you see
Nice.
like
Great
he goes to
sanctuary,
summon up
though.
and you begin to see these like almost like
Wait, I'm not getting murdered?
you know, no one's that honestly
this
that
time.
sanctuary came in clutch because you see these ribbons of shadows start to snake out following like the floor and tracing up the wall, and they begin to peel off and come as like actual physical weaves of shadow towards the four of you. And in that moment there is a bright green light that sort of almost surrounds you in a sphere, Perrin, and as like that shadow hits it, it immediately dissipates, and all the other ones with it. And this is not something that Balik was accounting for. And I think for the first time you see him look a little bit frustrated, and maybe a little bit concerned. That is it for Balik's not going to, like, moving out of the moonbeam would cause him to take attacks of opportunity. So I think he just continues to, like, he's taking the weight of this, like, silvery light burning away at him in order to just hold his position. But that is back to the top of the initiative order, and that is going to be lair effects coming into play. So as the lair effects come into play, I need everyone to make a wisdom. Everyone except for Perrin. I'm going to say that because of the sanctuary spell, this spell just can't target you. It doesn't. It's a latent spell effect, and so I just don't. It doesn't affect you, Perrin. Everyone else, I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Damn.
19.
Okay.
26.
I'm praying to the dice gods right now.
What'd they say?
Yes.
Did
They
say,
answered my prayer.
Did they
Nat
nat
20?
Did they nat 20?
They nat 20'd. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes!
Look at her foot.
In this moment, those same shadows that were like that recoiled and dissipated more snake out from different directions, and this time they're coming out physically. They're almost like these ribbons of darkness that come out to wrap themselves around the three of you. They don't approach Perrin this time, but I think as they like begin to wrap around, I think none of you are held. Vox, like you're too intent on the like you're seeing red and you're seeing one thing. Fauna, you are filled with like this, you're in this active combat, but in the back of your mind you're holding this like thing that you're feeling, and it's almost like wisps to brush these things away. Atticus, you're so fucking mad about your mustache you don't even notice these things wrap up and you step right through them. It's not going to affect anyone. And that makes it Vox. It is your turn.
Okay. Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Okay. Vox is... Thank you so much for reminding me of this, Atticus, because Vox pulls out her tarot card and looks at the image of Dawn, which gives her forever advantage, or for the whole fight, on attack rolls. So she is going to pull out Brightborn and let's taste this blood.
Oh, fantastic.
And that is a, we'll say 14 plus 14, 20, 22. And I'm going to take the -5 on that. And I'm going to add the 3d6 fire. And the 1d8, and
go ahead and roll all that damage.
No worries. I'm also going to use the sneak attack to add the 3 extra d6. So I'm gonna roll just this pile of dice right here. $16, 18, 25.
Okay. That's a good hit. I think with that hit you like skewer the other shoulder again. And as you drive in, Balik looks back at you with menace. You really think you're going to kill me here, in my place of power?
You took everything from me, and I'm not going to stop till I take that tongue from your mouth.
Oh, it's not the tongue that does the tricks, love. It's the teeth. And you see, like, as he flashes those teeth with the root, like the black runes carved into them. He's going to cast, after taking damage, cast a form of Hellish Rebuke, but instead it is just like, again, those like shadows that lance out.
While he's mid-talking, can I hit him with my dagger?
Yeah, for sure.
Just fuck this guy. That is a 16 on the dagger.
16 hits.
It does nothing, but it's kind of insulting. It's a 5.
No, it totally is. Ow, fuck, I was talking. Okay, it's another 5. Go ahead. Actually, I need to remember. I don't remember if Hellish Rebuke is a Constitution save or a Dexterity save. I think it's a Constitution save.
I really hope it's a Dexterity save.
Let me look it up.
Show me Dex save. Box is now fighting for both her lover and her mother in here. She cannot fail this. And all her friends and
For
Bertox.
sure. It's big stakes. It is a Dexterity saving throw.
Fuck, yes it is.
But unfortunately, you are making it with disadvantage still because your rune is still destroyed.
Well,
Okay,
Box
so
couldn't tell.
first
Couldn't tell the
one
pressure's getting to you at all.
That was a first one was a 24. Second one's gonna be a 17.
The 17 saves, so you're only going to take half damage, which is
roll bad, Elijah. Roll bad.
you're going to take 35 points of damage, halved to 17.
Okay.
What spell does that? I'm sorry, I missed that part.
It's Hellish Rebuke, but it was upcast to be like a 4th level.
That's just a reaction? Okay.
Yeah, it's a reaction.
Okay.
Does that make it my turn?
It does make it your turn.
While he's talking and giving his hellish rebuke, and it hits Vox and he's distracted, he's still tangled up in the chain of Ornament of Rights.
Yeah.
And Perrin crossed around him, so I'm extremely close. So Perrin reaches into his pocket and smashes a berry into his mouth.
Okay. So I'll need you to you're going to make an attack roll to smash this berry into the mouth. And here's what I'm going to say, because it's a very specific thing to go into the berry, like to get the berry in the mouth. I will say that in order to do it and successfully get it into the mouth, you're going to need to beat his AC by 5 in order to like perfectly get the berry in the mouth on an attack roll.
Does he have advantage? Is he flanking?
But he is flanked, so you do have advantage.
Better roll 20.
Just flat roll on the attack since it's an unarmed.
You get your dexterity bonus. I think you're proficient in you've smashed.
I get my
berries in
dexterity.
people's mouths before, so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm picturing Mari right now. So then that makes it a 19.
Okay. A 19 just beats his armor class by 5.
Woo!
Now remind
That
me, the
night.
berries. Did we say the effect is casting a sleep spell?
You said, and I quote, eating the berry immediately
Makes
makes
you-
anything that can fall asleep by magical means immediately fall asleep
Fall
by
asleep?
magical means.
How many of these berries do you have left?
That was my third out of the 6 that I collected.
Okay, cool.
Does
and
he have to
these
I gave
swallow
one-
it though?
No,
It just has
because
to be
everybody-
in his mouth.
tasty?
everybody else.
Okay.
Yeah, when we first discovered them, people fell asleep the moment it went into their mouths,
Okay.
and I was like, "Oh, I'm exploiting this forever."
Yeah. I will say though, it's not necessarily magical, so you can be woken up from it. But I will say in this moment,
No. It's a long rest. You forced a long rest. It was an immediate. We could not wake up any other member of the party. We tried
Oh, that is
because the
right, we
two of
did
us
try
were
to
still
wake
awake.
up.
You said it was not a sleep spell. It was not a normal sleep, and it could not be interrupted. It was a forced long rest.
You're right. I did. Hoisted by my own berry petard. Go ahead. Yeah. This, I'm gonna keep you in the initiative order because there are still lair effects that are happening.
Okay, I hate to say this. I hate to ask the questions. Balik is the brother to my sister, my mom,
Half brother, yes.
who is full. Okay, so he's the human side, not
Yes.
elf side, because elves can't.
Evil
be put
stepbrother, what are
magically
you
asleep.
doing?
Okay.
Yep.
Just hey, you know what? I'm just being
Yeah.
devil's advocate
No,
here.
I
It's gotta
I
be
thought about that.
legit. It's gotta be legit.
I'm
But
just making sure. I was like, they're
you-
related. How are they related?
Perrin, how does this look as you smash the berry into his mouth?
Yeah, so he's in the middle of giving this spooky rebuke, and there's black shadows everywhere, and then
Yeah.
the brightest red, most cheerful berry just gets smashed into his mouth, and he, for a moment, tastes pure and utter joy, just like childhood wonder.
It's the zoom in on Ego and Ratatouille as he's just
Yeah. He's like, he immediately feels it. And he feels exactly what it's like to be an actual innocent being. And Perrin steps really close and says, "You're not a very good uncle."
Oh. I suppose I'm not. And is going to crumple to the ground asleep. I will say, we're gonna stay in initiative order just on like actions. And I'm probably only gonna let you like act within reason because again, like an action is like 6 seconds. But Perrin, that's your turn. That's your attack action. You do still get your movement if you want it, and a bonus action. Are you doing anything with that?
I mean, I guess Perrin's just gonna like look at everyone and be like, "Is everybody all? Atticus, you hit me with the sword, and Jesus Christ, I don't even know who Jesus Christ is, but that really fucking hurt. Is everybody else
invented a
okay?"
new cuss.
Yeah, that's a guy I knew at a tavern.
Sure.
That was his name.
I'm
Is everybody okay?
I'm not doing
Yeah.
so hot, friends. And Atticus is
Yeah, I'm
gonna take a
bleeding
knee.
heavily.
Fox is just gonna walk up to her mother, and that she's just no focus on anything else, just
Okay, cool.
beelining.
Atticus is during this time is just going to reiterate everything about the ritual that he
Yeah.
knows to the party. And we should probably. Did he say?
Yeah,
Did,
Atticus
did,
hit those
did,
stones.
Did he say his tongue is not powerful, but his teeth are?
Yeah, you probably
Did I
shouldn't
hear
have told
that
us
right?
that.
Am I like, is he like snoring, or is his
Oh,
his mouth
not-
He's not
closed?
snoring.
Is he-
Matt,
Is he
we'll
sucking his
say-
thumb? He's
not
sucking his
thumb.
thumb,
We will say that's a nat 1 on the luck check. His mouth is wide fucking open.
So
I'm
I
gonna
just want to
look
be
at the
clear.
teeth.
I tried to wake you guys up when you all had this berry, and we couldn't do it. So like, I think we can just maybe smash his teeth out.
Here's what I will say: is anyone, in this moment, because Atticus, your action in initiative order, your action, and Fauna's action, they both come before Theon's next action. Vox's doesn't. Is anyone?
I guess
doing-
Amos attacks the rune again.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna. Amos keeps scratching at it for another point of damage. Don't need to make an attack roll. If neither Atticus or Fauna, and I don't necessarily see any narrative reason why you would, but if neither of you go to check on Theon with your action, I am gonna make another death saving throw.
Vox. Should we check on? Like, I don't know who this guy is. Is he on our side?
Vox is just like really just tuned out by everything that just happened. I would love to respond to, but she is walking to her mother.
I think Fauna. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to argue that if Vox has crossed over to Eva, I would think that would make Bert feel like the next most defensible action would be to check on the enemy combatants and make sure they're down. I feel like that's what a knight would do in that scenario.
I think that's a totally reasonable thing for Bert to do. Here's what I'm also going to say. Because Fauna, I do think like you have like, it is a genuine Fauna thing to want to know if someone is hurt, if they should help them, and you don't know. If you should
like
help them.
this
So
guy could be on our side. I don't know he
Yes.
was an enemy. I don't know who he is at all.
So,
in
do
I know? Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay.
Sorry.
In this moment, Fauna and Atticus, I also go ahead and make, as because you can look at the teeth for sure. Go ahead and make an Arcana check for me. Looking at these teeth, and you can do it with advantage because he's asleep and the mouth is open. And
would I catch any runes since I caught what these runes were in the beginning?
You don't catch any runes. You don't see any with like, you don't see any with symbols that you recognize out.
Doesn't matter. I rolled a nat 20 with advantage.
Oh my god!
Okay.
Yes.
We're gonna get to the results.
I need
Yeah.
those. I need dice. I
Yeah.
need someone give me
You
those
need
dice.
I'll give you the link.
You need them bonkers dice. Fauna,
Rigged.
in this moment of looking at someone, seeing them injured, you feel that protective impulse even more. And I think you look down and you see the cat. And you remember the moment when you were still really little. You first found the cat. It's just a small kitten, and it was on a trip to the village of Janook. It was one of the few that you took as a child with Nerolith. And you remember finding this tiny, tiny little black kitten, like probably just a few weeks old, in an alleyway. And it was like injured and just kind of like didn't seem like it wanted to move a lot. Just kind of sat there like plaintively like, and I think seeing that, like that thing in you that wants to reached out so badly and wanted to not just heal this cat, but to protect it from whatever things might injure it in the future the same way that it was injured now. And in that moment, for the first time, and I don't think maybe other than like a few moments since then you've ever really tapped into this in the way that you tapped into it, but you pick the kitten up and tell me, what does Fauna say to the kitten as she casts Healing Word for the first time?
She picks up the kitten and like holds it very close to her, like up close to her chest, but also, you know, so she can just be like right up close to it. And I think she just like whispers in its tiny little kitten ear, you're mine.
Oh my god. And in that moment, not only do you immediately heal the cat of everything, you also remove black cats. For those people that are superstitious, are known for bad luck. It does, for maybe practicing spellcasters, like spellcasters often make them a target for spells that manipulate luck, because it's an easier thing to attach to. So in that moment, not only do you heal the cat, but you remove it of the small curse that was put on it by a very foul, rude, practicing wizard's apprentice. And the cat can't speak yet, but immediately like looks up at you and just starts purring and rubs into you.
Oh.
And in this moment, remembering this and then looking at this wounded person across the room, Fauna, you immediately level up to level 7 from level 5, and you get all your healing spells and all that other stuff that we talked about.
And then Fauna does this dance.
Level 7?
No, just kidding. She doesn't do that dance.
Guess what gets to happen to everyone else before the end of the session?
Do we go back down to level 3?
Everyone
else levels down.
Stolen 2 levels from everyone in a direct.
Turns out I'm an evil witch, guys.
Go ahead.
Sorry about that.
Are you using any of those healing spells to heal Theon? I mean, you have Healing Word, and then you also have that Mass Cure Wounds, which can target multiple people too.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm Yeah, I'm going to use Mass Cure Wounds. And it says a wave of healing energy washes out. Because I feel like that makes the most sense, right?
Yeah.
Like she has that memory, but she still doesn't really like understand why that happened.
Yes.
So it like triggers the thing in her, but she isn't really like targeting it. So it's just like coming out of her.
Yeah.
And so it says, choose up to 6 creatures in a 30-foot radius sphere centered on a point within 60 feet.
You can hit the entire party with this.
Yeah.
Sure.
I am. That's my plan. So each target regains hit points equal to 3d8 plus 5.
Cool. Go ahead and roll those 3d8 plus 5. And every party member, go ahead and get 3d8 plus whatever.
Oh, no, I get to choose the targets, right? So it's not everybody.
Yeah, it's not
everybody.
You can affect, like Bert and Eva haven't taken any damage at all, so you can affect Perrin, Vox, Atticus, and Theon, all with this.
And Riviana. And Riviana.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like it's sort of like it is a reaction. Like she didn't mean to, but I think also that reaction would only target people she thinks might be on their side. So she's clearly not gonna target.
And yourself too. And yourself.
Yeah.
No, I haven't taken any damage.
Ah.
I've just been hanging out. I don't know.
It's 3d8 plus your level, right?
Yeah, but Fauna rolls it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I roll it for everybody?
Yeah. So go ahead and roll the
Oh,
3, and it's
God.
just the same. You don't have to roll it
Oh, it's
each
the
time
same
for
for
everyone. Just
everybody.
roll it
Okay.
once, and then it's the same for everyone.
Okay, gotcha.
So
Oh.
3d8 plus 5.
I rolled that.
God,
too.
what a math nightmare that spell would be.
It's like, I take it back. Everybody can
Hey,
see
everyone
her.
can go fucking figure it out.
Okay,
Roll a
first one was an
d8
8,
forever.
8.
Ooh,
then 3,
11,
then 5,
16 plus 5.
plus
So
5.
21
21.
to everyone.
No.
What, is it plus 5 or plus the level?
Plus 5
It
because
says
it's plus
plus
it's
5
the,
on
yeah.
my sheet.
It's plus the it's plus Fauna's
The
spellcasting
spell level?
modifier. No, it's just plus her spellcasting modifier.
What was the total number?
21.
21.
21.
Okay.
21 points of damage back. And I will say, as this happens, there is something else that happens too.
Something else a brewing.
Because I think triggered with that, like latency, you cast this spell, Fauna, and it just goes out as this desire to heal. This is also going to, and it's going to be used in a different way than it'll be used in the future, because in the future you have to touch someone and have enacted this ritual. But I think in this same moment, remove curse goes out just as a ritual with the heal, because you are also trying to like scrub out or remove that darkness that you felt before, that like lingering of ancient magic that was on you and Perrin and Vox. And it is successful. And I think, Vox, you said you were headed back to check on your mother, right?
Yes.
Check on Eva. You are walking back to Eva, and this wave of healing flows over you. And as that happens, let me make sure that I have my little thing set up here correctly.
The right bad music to start.
Yeah, the right terrible. In that moment, healing comes over you. There's this wave that comes over you, and in that moment, you feel like a key clicking into place. And you're not here anymore. You are in a memory. But this time it's the actual memory and not the modified memory. The night that your mother was taken, your Uncle Theon didn't come with a band of mercenaries and toss you into a closet and then disappear with your mother. You remember what happened the night your mother was taken. You remember sitting at home with your father, Taryn, and your mother, Eva, and it was a quiet night. Your father was preparing dinner like he usually did, and you and your mother were just sitting by the fire when you heard a knock at the door. And before your father could go over to answer it, your uncle, Theon, walked in. Face, less scars than there are now, but still heavily scarred. Still the enormous man that he's always been. Long white hair, it's not quite as white. It's grayer in this. He's a little younger. He looks panicked. You see him look at your father and then look over to you and your mother. He's coming. I know we thought maybe he wouldn't, but he's coming. And he's coming for both of you. And he looks back to Taryn and he puts a hand on your father's shoulder. We don't have much time. We have to hide him. We have to get him out of here. He'll burn everything down to get to those two. And your father, in that moment, beginning to look panicked, also just nods. Yeah. What do I... I'm here with you. I'm not going anywhere. We just have to hide him. And Theon immediately looks over to you, Vox, and to your mother, and nods his head towards the back and goes running back the back hallway, throws open the closet door. In here, get in here. And I think, without waiting for you to say anything, Vox, your mother scoops you up and takes you into the closet. They shut the door, and I think before he shuts the door, your uncle looks down at you, and the same way that he did when he taught you to fight just as a toddler and how to sneak around and how the steps and he just puts his finger to his lips and looks at you and shuts the door. And I think that you are in there with your mother for... It's hard to know whether it was seconds or hours. But you hear the front door, you hear this hard knock, and then almost immediately afterwards, the door is knocked in. And you hear a fight taking place. There are yells, you hear furniture being broken, you hear swords crashing against each other. And then you hear a sound. A scream, unlike one that you have ever heard, coming from your uncle, and it is a scream of rage and pain. And you immediately hear after that almost like a windmill, the sound of his sword swinging. And it's not long after that there's just silence, just heavy breathing. And your mother looks down at you. Don't say anything. And she opens the door, just enough to look out. Vox, do you look out the door?
I think Vox is a very, very nosy child, same as she is an adult. That has never changed. If anything, it's probably been world as an adult, and she's less nosy, so she would definitely peek out the door as a frightened child, just no one telling her what's going on and never seeing her family like that. So she would peek.
You peek out the door, and you see your uncle, Theon. I mean, the first thing you see is the absolute... There are bodies fully cut in half. There are bodies with limbs off. There's blood everywhere. And you see your uncle. There's blood all over him. You can't tell if it's his or if it's someone else's or if it's everyone else's. And he is kneeling over your father, who lies eyes open, mouth open, unmoving on the floor. And Theon looks up to you and your mother. I tried. And in that moment, your mother turns to look at you, Vox. You can see there is a calmness to her. She's fully collected, almost as if she expected something like this. And she looks deep into your eyes, and I think you don't need to make a check for this. You've seen your mother do little cantrips and things, like little acts of what you thought were probably magic before. And your mother looks at you, and you feel that sparkle. She's casting some kind of spell. little tornado. You have to learn how to hide. I can protect my child, but one day you will be grown, and even my love won't keep you safe. He will comb through every shadow and burn every house to find you. You have to learn to become invisible. You can't ever stop moving. And I thought I could give you a better life. But I don't know what a mother can do against someone like this. I love you. And she gives you a kiss on the forehead. And you feel something in that spell finalize and cement. You feel, in this moment, I think you feel your father's dead out there. Your uncle is covered in blood. You have just been attacked by a group of strangers. And your mother and uncle are panicking about something that you have no idea what it is. But in this one moment, you feel safe.
I think sweet little innocent at the time, Vox just holds on to like her mother's long elven leg and just nuzzles her.
And she nuzzles you back in the top of your head. And you, without looking up, you hear somebody at the door. Just standing in the door frame. You can feel their presence. Well, I see you've done a number on the lessers that I sent. So I suppose I will have to collect them myself. And Vox, if you look it up at all, what you see is you see your uncle stand to turn and face the door. And you see, because you realize now that the true memory is back. This is not the first time you've seen Balik was in the room as the captor of your mother. You saw him the night your mother was taken, because after the mercenaries came, he came. And you saw your uncle stand up to protect you, and you saw him whisper a word, and you saw your uncle's arms go slack, and he dropped his sword and turned to give one last look at you, and then walked out the door. And Balik walked down the hallway, whispered a word, and shadows came out of every corner of the room and lashed together your mother. And she was pulled against her will from the closet, almost like a puppet on a string.
I think Vox would have tried to hit him with little tiny fists.
I think as you go to run at Balik, you see an almost dismissive sneer. And I'm not going to make you roll an attack roll, because what you see happen next confuses. Like, your uncle, even when you were very little, taught you how to fight, but you knew that, like, you still, like, you never really fought. You'd fought other kids your size. You'd fought older kids, too, and done a number on them. You'd never fought a grown-up. And in this moment, you were surprised to find that a strike from you, you see a look of incredible pain and anguish pass over this human's face as they hold their head. What the fuck? And you see he flicks his arm. Your mother goes, like, is tossed aside like a rag doll to the side, and he looks down at you in bewilderment. did you put in this child? And I'll let's do this to see if anything else as tiny little Vox, and we're just gonna say it's a roll that you get a +1 to. Go ahead and make me a wisdom saving throw.
11.
Those same shadows that are tying your mother lash out to grab you. You see, takes a moment, still holding his head, and looks over to Eva. I don't know what foolish spell you put in this child, but mark my words, one day I will find a way to undo it, and I will have your blood, and I will have hers, and then I will get my inheritance the way that I always should have. And there is not going to be anything you can do about it. And again, he reaches for those shadowy strings. Your mother is kind of half pulled to her feet as she kind of staggers up. And you also, Vox, feel that pull as Balik turns and walks out of the house. Both of you in tow. You can see, though, like, still pulling on your cords, you can see him. He's fighting pain as he holds on to you. He's like, he's grimacing. It's costing him something to do this. And he pulls you both outside. And the shadows on you release. And for just a moment, your mother looks at you, the shadows still on her. As Balik turns from you, whispers something, and you just see your house catch fire. And as it burns and the flickering light illuminates your mother's mouth, you just hear her mouth the words, "Run."
I'm
What?
sweet
What-
baby Vox
what would baby Vox have done?
would hesitate for a second and stare at her mom for a while longer, just like not wanting to leave her. But if her mom told her one more time, she would listen.
Okay. I have one more question to ask you. Is like this the real, like the repercussions of this, like memory sink in, the true memory? Because one last thing happens, which is that like you see Balik turn to look at you before you can run. I will find you one day, and I promise it will be far less pleasant than this. And he turns and leaves with your mother. And I think you can see in the distance, like, Theon, like, walking through the field slowly to join them. I have, as this happens and Balik walks away, I have one more question. Does Vox stay near the house at all?
Vox would have ran into the house to grab anything of her parents.
Make me a perception check in this moment to grab something in a house that is actively on fire and burning down.
The 14.
Okay. On a 14, you realize, like, that I think even as a child, like, the house is, you can't stand here for long. You are not strong enough to drag your father's dead body outside, but he does have in his hand his dagger, and you can take that.
Yeah. She takes it
You take
and
the
just cries, looking at her dad, and runs out.
do you run far enough away that you can no longer see the house? Like, do you just run until you can't run anymore?
She runs like the opposite direction of where this guy and has just taken her uncle and mother, just to, I think, looking for help.
Yeah. You're able to get to the nearest, and I think from there, like, your memories, they're back to, these are the memories, this is the life that you remember. But you realize what was taken from you, and it was the knowledge of who Theon, who the uncle that you thought had betrayed you, the memory of what truly happened.
I feel a little bit bad for gutting him.
Yeah. I will tell you, he also got that 21 points of healing, though. I think before anything, God, it's already 10 o'clock. There is, before we end tonight, there is one more, we'll call it, even though it's 2 individual curses, there is a shared curse that also gets undone. And so we're going to get through that, but the session is probably going to go like 15 minutes longer than it usually would. So
let's just do another hour. Let's go. Let's go. We're wrapping up an act right now. Let's do it.
We're wrapping up an act. We will be able to we will basically get to your uncle's interaction with you, Vox, like at the beginning of the next session. But your curse is lifted. You had a false memory, and it was put there by Balik to erase and I think make him not the target of your vengeance, and maybe not make you come back to find him until he was ready to take you on, and find a way to remove the spell that your mother had placed on you to protect you.
I'm going to be honest, I'm starting to feel a little bit guilty about the innocent guard that I murdered.
Yeah, no shit, dude.
You should have felt guilty immediately.
Atticus remembered that.
I don't feel guilty,
Wait,
but I'm starting
is that
to.
card is he dead? Can my healing still count for him too?
I do apologize, but he is fucking dead.
do
dead.
apologize.
Just making sure.
Absolutely toast.
Perrin has no regrets, but I'm beginning to feel a little guilty.
Yeah.
A picture.
Do we need another
Do we need
another Daticus talk?
Oh no. Poor Gert.
Perrin.
He would have succeeded,
Perrin, you are in a memory. And it is a new memory. You are in your cabin just outside the Evewood Coven, where you chose to remain after delivering Fauna in the dead of night to Nerelith. And as you sit in your cabin, it has been a wonderful 3 years. Maybe 4, who's keeping track, but it has been some of the happiest times that you can remember in recent years. And you were sitting there carving a stool. And you were taking care with all the shapes on the legs to make sure that the joints fit correctly and fitting it all into place. And as you give it its last little finish and look at it approvingly, before you hear the 2 little knocks on the door, you can already hear them approaching, because they never come to your cabin not running at a sprint when they get to spend the day with you. And you right after you hear them already approaching, finishing the stool, you hear 2 little knocks that just kind of keep continuing until you answer the door. And,
Well, I wonder who that could be.
Fauna, because this remove curse is also hitting you at the same, it's undoing everything. You are standing there. It's probably one of your earlier memories, because you're about 4 years old. Just a little toddler. And really the only reason that you were like allowed to leave the coven without supervision is because Nerlith had enchanted the path to Perrin's cabin a long time ago to make sure that nothing ever would happen to you on the way there.
And with you is an 800-year-old Atticus.
You are standing there knocking on the door with your twin Flora. Looks like you,
knew it.
But blonde hair instead of red, but otherwise incredibly similar.
Well,
and
good afternoon, girls.
Hi, Dad.
Oh, right. I mean, look, we've talked about that. I'm not completely comfortable with that term, but...
Oh, right. Sorry, Dad.
Flora looks up at you. Is the thing done? Is the thing done so I can reach? So I can reach up
Yes,
high?
the thing is... Come take a look at it.
Flora runs into the room and immediately like goes straight to the stool, grabs it, runs over and like puts it down on the ground and steps up on it and immediately begins like rifling through your cupboards where all your like herbs and
okay, be careful with that one. Yeah, yes you can. Okay, that's good. Okay, don't rifle through the garlic though, it upsets the bulbs.
Careful, sis.
This one's spicy.
Yep. Yes, it is spicy. It is spicy. Oh. Fauna, your sister's
Fauna's
very
just, like,
excited
standing,
today.
propping her sister up on the stool to make sure she doesn't fall and hurt herself.
Hold this one. And she hands you this bulb of something that is definitely not garlic. It looks like it has a weird little face on it. And take this one.
Fauna
Right,
puts it
remember-
on. She has like a little apron. She puts it on, like,
This is a tool, not a toy, but Perrin is smiling as large as he can smile. So this isn't for play, this is for when there's things that need to be done.
I need to go through your cupboards though.
That
Yep.
does sound like a necessity then. What else is in there then?
Well, there's this thing, and you said this one smells funny. I don't like it.
Right, yeah, I mean, there's a whole new world of smells available to you.
Yeah, there's lots of smells. Uncle Perrin, sometimes, even not in the cabinet, sometimes your cabin smells a little weird when we come.
Oh, I mean, there's some things that I burn now and then for no reason. Don't worry about that.
Okay. Are we going out into the woods today?
I do think we're going into the woods. What do we need when we go into the woods? Fauna, what's the first thing we bring? One at a time.
Treat.
Okay, yes, provisions. That's a good one. What do you want to bring for provisions today?
Treat.
Yeah, all right, very good. And Perrin lifts up a bread box and opens it up, and he has some elven bread that he's baked.
Yeah. The other one. I know the other one. Can I say the other one?
What's the other one?
Protection. And
Protection.
points to your ornament of rights, which is hung up on the wall.
Oh, yep. It's a far reach. I might need a stool to step on.
Stool. And Flora is going to like grab the stool and run over to you and put the stool underneath.
Oh, this is perfect. This is perfect. And Perrin steps up and pulls down Ornament of Rights and just checks it over real quick, makes sure everything looks good, which he knows it does because he checks it every night. Now, we always take care of our weapons because weapons are very...
sharp.
Pointy.
Right? Dangerous. Dangerous is the way we sum it all up, right? So we always be very careful with our weapons. They're not toys. They're very dangerous tools. So
And
Perrin
pointy.
straps it and pointy, right? So I have this, and we each have our mushroom knives.
Yep.
Flora, you don't.
Forgot my
Flora.
knife.
You're going to have to share with your sister then, if she's willing to share. So that means one of you is going to be on root duty. Perrin pulls a little tiny spade out. Root
Me,
duty.
It's me. Root duty, root duty.
You're the best little rooters.
Well, only I'm on root duty.
I don't know.
She's on mushroom,
mushroom
hunting
duty.
I could have sworn mere moments ago you wanted a mushroom knife.
No, root duty.
All right, all right. And Perrin also steps above a bookcase and takes out his longbow and strings it.
Yeah. And I think you all leave the house to wander the Evewood because Nearlith took you out into the Evewood as a child, Fauna, but the person who took you out the most, you and your sister, was Perrin. And I think you spend several joyful hours out in the woods. You hunting for mushrooms, Flora digging at every root that she found until she started to find some big ones, and then like kind of tackled them with ferocity but quickly gave up and went back to like digging at things like little flowers and like green shoots that could be done in like one little pole, and would come back and like present them to you, Perrin, each time.
Perrin's satchel is definitely full of like one potato and like 30 wildflowers, and the front of Perrin's cabin is definitely propagated with so many wildflowers.
Yeah.
Fauna's like harvesting mushrooms, but she's only putting like half of them in her pouch, and the other half she's just feeding to a little squirrel that's like hanging out nearby.
Yeah, the little squirrel takes. Perrin. As this afternoon unfolds, in the back of your mind, you know, you always have some larger goal a lot of times when you take like a particular thing that you're looking for, and it's easy for you to pursue that goal and also keep track of the twins. But there is a task today that cannot be ignored. You know that you have an appointment at a certain tree. You can't quite remember the significance, though. Like this whole time you've sort of been circling the forest and cutting onto different paths and watching the twins play. But as you draw closer to this tree, it cements itself more and more in your mind until you are fixated on it, almost to the point of where you're not really registering the small gifts that are brought to you, or Fauna feeding all the wild animals the mushrooms that she's supposed to be giving to you. And you arrive at the tree. And as you arrive up the tree, you know what your purpose is. Like, how could you not have known this whole time? Of course, this is your purpose. You hear a voice whisper clear as day to you your purpose in the back of your mind. Bring it here. And you hear those words. You step forward to the tree. You cut your hand open, and as the blood pours out, you place it onto the tree. And as you place it onto the tree, you feel the barrier between the mortal realm and the Feywild grow thin and you feel your blood seep into the tree. And immediately, the Wallachria has your scent. And as the Wallachria has your scent, its presence begins to creep out from the tree. These roots of black begin to grow out of the place where you have put your hand, and they begin to strangle small branches of the tree and shoots of green leaves as this thing begins to eat away at the tree. And then you look down and you see that Fauna, further away from the tree, mushroom in hand that she's just cut. Fauna, in this moment, go ahead and as little Fauna, so you're going to get a +0 to this roll. I need you to make me a Constitution saving throw. So it's just going to be a D20.
$13.
Okay. On a 13, Fauna, you are like standing there cutting the little mushrooms near the tree when you see Perrin, who's kind of like been a little not quite as engaged for the last 30 minutes or so. You see him place his hand on the tree. You see these things begin to come out of it. And I think before you can even react, one comes up from the ground where you've just cut the mushroom and starts to like lash around your hand.
Fauna?
And
Fauna,
you
back
are
up.
Unconscious, you fall backwards. And Perrin, as
Oh.
you say this,
Fauna!
looking at Fauna, you look down and you see that Flora, who was your root digger for the day, had begun to dig at the roots of the tree and is completely enveloped in these things as they grow out. And unconscious, like eyes rolled back in the head, black, and you see already horns. Different from the Wallacrias, it has these, enormous black antlers. These are more curling ram's horns as these ram's horns begin to sprout from Flora's head.
No, girls. Perrin rushes over to Flora.
Go ahead and give me a wisdom save as you go to act in this moment.
This is before he was an alcoholic, so he's way wiser, right? 5. I rolled terribly.
On a 5, you go to reach for Flora, and you stop. This was it. You did what you were like. Your hand isn't on the tree anymore. The Wallachia can't make it through, but its curse is spreading, just like it was supposed to.
Wait.
Just to who it was supposed to. And you hear that same voice, except this time it's not whispering in your head because Balik steps out from behind the tree. Oh, well done. Well done.
Wait. Why did I...
Don't think too hard about it, Perrin. This wouldn't be the first time you've run a very important errand for me. Now, if you don't mind, I will just take a little something from this one. And you see he reaches down and with a swift motion snaps one of the horns off.
No.
Puts it into a robe. Now, I will be going. The door will shut. But I probably, and looks at Fauna. I don't think I should leave any loose ends.
No.
What do you think?
You can't. No, you can't keep... You can't make me do this.
Then I'm going to need something from you. It has been exceptionally hard to reach into that stubborn skull of yours. In the future, I'm going to need you to make it a little bit easier.
Not them. Leave them alone.
Well, very well. You make it easy for me. I make things easier on you. Although, I would say the curse that's on that one is going to be difficult to break. Perhaps it might even spread to both. And Balik is going to turn and walk away. And you are unable, like in that moment, to make any movements towards him, Perrin. But as he like kind of walks away, go ahead and make me another wisdom saving throw.
Ten.
Okay. On a 10, this is not the first time you've felt this effect from him. Like, you know, your muscles still feel like numb and unresponsive. Like there's nothing there to move you forward, and you almost feel trapped in your own body. And I think you feel trapped still as you watch Flora change. It's the horns first, and again, like now it's just the one horn, Balik having snapped off the other one, but the other one continues to grow and spiral out. You see the teeth grow sharper. You see that the skin begins to, like fur begins to come out, and you see new limbs begin to sprout as Flora changes into something not just like the Wallachria, but similar. A horrific, albeit much smaller, creature. Fauna, go ahead and make me another Constitution saving throw. But just that flat D20, because you're just a tiny kid.
14.
On a 14, you come to with just enough time, and again, like this is a memory that you did not have before that you have now that the curse is removed. Because this memory was taken from you, and not just this memory, but your memory of ever having a sister at all was taken from you. And you come back to your body still like unresponsive, and so it almost is like a waking nightmare as you lie there paralyzed and you watch a creature who stands where your sister once stood rise up and sort of look at both of you like this six-limbed thing with multiple glowing green eyes and a large like protruded kind of rib cage, snake its long neck around, look at you both, hiss, and run into the forest. And Fauna, I will say in this moment, now that this memory is restored, it matches up with another memory that happened later in your life, because when you saw that creature with the half-witch, that was not the first time you'd seen that creature, because the first time you ever saw that creature was now. When your sister, who was cursed more than you, having been closer to the tree when Perrin opened it, ran away.
Are these memories coming back to Perrin present day?
Yeah, and Fauna present day, like they both come back.
Yeah.
You realize that
So
you're
he is
getting this shared memory.
Yeah, so as Perrin is in the middle of like low-key talking with Atticus, he pauses as those memories come back, and then he just wordlessly begins slamming Ornament of Rights into Balik's mouth over and over again.
Yeah, he's fucking asleep. I think you don't need to. You knock out.
I think we'll deal with the ramifications of that next time. I think that's
Yeah.
just what I
Yeah.
do.
You knock out teeth. You knock out. And I think Perrin, there are like other memories. I think as this one memory comes back to you, there are other memories as well that come flooded. Like there's a flood of memories for you that have been modified and changed in moments. And I think that we'll probably like start to deal like and sort through those next time too.
I think we found out why Perrin drinks.
Yeah, I think we did. The last thing that I'm going to do for this session and the last memory that comes to you is the most recent interaction you had with Balik, which is when you were standing in front of the Dreadspire looking at it, and Balik was standing next to you. You know, I almost envy you. The things you're going to see in there. I wish I could walk through those doors. But alas, for whatever reason, you have a key that I do not. Now, do you remember everything I told you?
Oh yeah, no, my memory's always super on point. I never forget a thing.
Oh, yes,
like a
I
steel
thought
trap.
so, yes. Well, just make sure of the things you bring for me out of that place. Remember, make sure to summon Vox Winvola to the tower. And also bring that Phoenix Knight I've heard so much about. I think that he'll come in handy.
Right. Any small nerds that you want?
No, just those two.
All right.
Well, until next time.
And as Perrin says that he never forgets a thing, all of those memories just like immediately go into his subconscious and he straight up forgets. I mean, he remembers, but he also forgets.
Yeah.
Damn it.
That is where we're going to end this session.
Damn. Perrin is everyone's dad.
Oh, everyone.
Crazy reveal.
Yeah, I hope nobody wanted to talk to this guy because I don't think anyone is going to stop Perrin from obliterating this person's skull.
Yeah, I mean, you fully Ryan Gosling like in the elevator.
Yeah.
Drove his skull into. All right. Well, we will be back with another session of Castle Run in like 3 weeks.
Shit.
Next year.
Yeah, next year.
Pretty big time to wait after all of this shit going down.
For sure.
Thanks for